Just put your trust in me. Anything you need, have faith in me. Just ask, just ask in my name. Oh, just ask, just ask in my name. I am the Lord. I can move on mountains. I'll be your strength when you're weary, weak, and torn. Believe in my promise. I will take care of you. Anything you need, have faith in me. Just ask, just ask in my name. Oh, just ask, just ask in my name. All things are possible. My name, in my name, can perform before me. I am the Father. Just put your trust in me. Anything you need, have faith in me. Just ask, just ask in my name. Oh, just ask, just ask in my name. All things are possible. Just put your trust in me. Anything that you need, have faith in me. Just ask, just ask in my name. Just ask, just so heavy laden and burdened down, I did not know just what to do. So I went and I
Though the storms keep on raging in my life, and sometimes it's hard to tell the night from day. Still, that hope that lies within is reassured as I keep my eyes upon the distant shore. I know He'll lead me safely to that blessed place He has prepared. But if the storms don't cease, and if the winds keep on blowing, my soul has been anchored in the Lord. Though the storms keep on raging in my life, and sometimes it's hard to tell the night from day. Still, that hope that lies within is reassured as I keep my eyes upon the distant shore. I know He'll lead me safely to that blessed place He has prepared. But if the storm and if the winds.
Oh, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, man? We back, we bike. We in here, man. So I'm working on this book, right? And because I'm working on my book, it's forcing me to really kind of flesh out some of my thoughts and beliefs and values and morals and stuff like that. I have written out the book. I wrote the book out. I actually had ChatGPT to kind of spiff it up a little bit, but everything in this book is exactly what I believe. It's the mindset and mentality of what I have to say, how I view the world. And if you're one of my subscribers and you've been rocking with me for a while, you'll kind of know it because you'll know it, right, when you hear it. A lot of times I know I sound like a broken record when I scream this idea of Marxists. I call people Marxists. Oh, you're always calling people Marxists. And I'm just like, I have to ask myself, well, am I? Am I like, is it like a witch hunt? What makes it valuable or what makes it a viable thing to say? Am I really just kind of seeing like hallucinations, if it will, as it pertains to our society and our culture with Black people, right? Am I just out of touch, right? And just saying stuff that really, when it's all said and done, is just mythological, right? Like, man, you just talking, man. It ain't like that, man. You always saying somebody's a Marxist. You always saying it. I'm like, God dang, man, I do kind of say that a lot. But you know what I'm starting to notice? If we really want to be honest, guys, I think a lot of our culture and our society is we're inundated with Marxist ideas every day. And I think we need more people screaming that word from the mountaintops until it becomes people get tired of it. Right now, it's not even at 1% critical mass of when we start talking about Marxism. And we need to reach at least 15% for it to really move the Overton window, if you will, right? And at this point right now, it's just not loud enough. And when you start talking about a word, when you start using words, words have definitions, right? I have a confession to make. When people started saying so and so's a grifter, I didn't understand what that word meant. You know what I did? I went and looked it up. I have no problem admitting when I don't know something. I just go look it up, right? So if you go look something up, you have to say, okay, well, words have meaning, and when someone says something, then you have to be able to kind of look up stuff. Like people will say stuff, use words, and I'm like, what does that mean? I didn't know what ubiquitous mean. I went and looked it up some years ago. I didn't know because I don't use words like that every day. I don't talk like that. It is ubiquitous. I don't talk like that. I don't. That's not in my vocabulary. I don't have a vast vocabulary from day to day, right? It's not that you can, most of the time when someone says something and you use it within a certain context, I can kind of grasp it from the context clues of how it was used and how it has been used. I mean, to really, really kind of flesh out the definition of words and phrases, right? So when I say the word Marxist all the time, people just, that's not a word you can really, I don't say you can't get it from the context of what's being said, right? Like if I say something like, hey guys, if you always talking about the redistribution of wealth, then you're a Marxist, right? I could just say that and you say, okay, well, that must be one of the printed tenets of what it means to be a Marxist. But there's more. And in chapter 6 of my book, I was just kind of editing because I'm doing some sound editing right now. The book is done. I did the audio version. I got 11 labs. I got some AI trying to make it sound natural and not robotic. So I'm redoing it over and over and over, trying to make sure that it's right, so it at least sounds like it's a person and not a robot. And in certain pieces within 11 labs, it'll just sound like a robot. Volume must spike way up and it just doesn't sound right. And so what I'm doing is I'm just kind of editing and going through. And as I'm doing these sound edits of my chapters, I'm starting to really, it's reminding me of some thoughts that I had, months ago when I was writing this book. And I just want to really come up here today, this evening, and really let you guys hear chapter 6, because it's really going to come to fruition as to why I said what I said as the title of this video, because it's really telling the story of how the average Black person thinks. All right. And particularly when we talk about Black person, we're talking about the young generation, right? Some millennials, but a whole lot of generations are Marxists. They just are. Let me tell you one of the things, this is what you have to be aware of, or beware of, right? When a person constantly talks about the wealthy, right? What you're talking about is classism, class warfare, and the classes, the rich are taking advantage of the poor. If you watch my video earlier, and the young man, there's no knock against him, but what was his name? Ghost, right? No, real smart brother. I'm not even like, I really don't, you know what I'm saying? I think as he gets older, I think he will kind of change, because he seemed kind of reasonable. So this isn't like, I'm not like coming back to take a jab at him with this title. It just it sent me down a road, and I was thinking like, wow, was I like that when I was younger? And I have to say, yes, there were certain times where I would scream isms. I would scream white racism. I would scream white supremacy, right? There, I would talk like that. I would say those things. And one of the marks of intelligence is evolving. A brain is always challenging. You have to go back throughout life and you have to challenge what you believe. And why do you believe what you believe? Right? Is it strong enough to stand up and to scrutiny? Can someone come along and kick it like a pile of cards and just tear it down? Or does it hold up? Does it stand up to scrutiny from others? You know what I'm saying? Can somebody come along and kick the tires and really test what you believe? You have to test yourself. Test what you believe. Why do you believe what you believe, right? Now, when I was younger, I did believe certain things, because I think, and I'm gonna be honest with you, being young and Black and African American in America, you have to go through a maze of just wrong ideas. In fact, I have some videos. I don't know which channel is on. It's probably on the other channel now, but at least I got my channel backed up on Rumble. So all my stuff, all my old Sub-Zero 3639 live videos, they're over there on Rumble. So in fact, I'm live on Rumble right now. Shout out to Rumble, right? But this is the thing you have to ask yourself. A lot of the videos and a lot of the content that I put out, a lot of the things that I've said historically, right? You look at those things and you wonder, were they well thought out? Were they, was it wrong? And I can go back and listen to some of my old content, and I kind of see some stuff where I might disagree with myself today, right? But I think a mark of intelligence is your thoughts evolve and change. Not everything, not, how should I put this? Principles tend to stay the same for the most part. Like, I've always been a conservative, and so those principles are holding through to the end of my life. But guess what? If I was a liberal, and some people were liberal Marxists, and then as they get older, they become conservative. And I think as you get older, you become conservative because life happens, right? You pay mortgages, you start businesses, you deal with, and you start understanding the nature of people and how people operate, how people move, right? If you understand how people move and how people operate, you cannot be a liberal for long, right? Because a liberal, part of being a liberal is the idea that you think and trust that everybody's going on the up and up. Everybody, I'm talking about poor, not the rich. Obviously, the rich are evil, but the poor people, you start understanding, look, man, this guy's poor, but it's not his fault. Or this woman's got 4 kids out of wedlock, and it's not her fault. That's what makes you a liberal, right? Then you live long enough, you have experiences, you deal with people, and you start realizing, man, I got homeboys, friends, people I know that I dealt with from the hood, and they all say the same thing. It's the white man's fault. But I remember distinctively sitting there telling him not to do this and telling her not to do that. And she chose to do it on her own volition. And now she got caught up. Or he got caught up. And now they're blaming racism and white supremacy. And I'm sorry, I just find that hard to believe. Right? You have to get tired of that argument eventually. Right? When you're a liberal, when you're young, you're going to be more susceptible to emotion-based arguments. You just are. Why? A lot of people don't have kids. See, when you're young and don't have kids, the decisions that you make do not affect others. So you thinking like, look, I'm all for women's right to choose. Why? Because I want to have access to as much sex, irresponsible sex as I can without any consequences. I want to be able to raw dog it out here in these streets and not have to worry about nothing. That's what you think. Because I did. I was young and I thought that at the time. I ain't going to live up and lie like I did. I never thought that thought before. That does affect a lot of men that are pro-choice. A lot of men are pro-choice because they think, hey, it's the possibility of sex. One day I might get access to some sex, and I want to be able to have access to this sex without having to worry about any consequences, without having to worry about any ramifications of my actions. If I'm out here, like I say, raw dogging and going balls deep up in one and busting a nut, I don't want to have to deal with no 20 years of consequences behind that. Man, if she can go to the clinic for $500 and clear this situation up, shoot, I'm with it. I don't want that option gone. That's why most men that support it would support it. If you remove that aspect of it, most men would be pro-life. That's the truth. If they thought there was a way or an option where it didn't have to be like that, they would probably, a lot of men that are pro-choice would be pro-life. Right? When you're young, you have no kids. So guess what? You think, you know what? To hell with it. I don't have to worry about the future. So you know what? I'm going to vote for a guy that's promising all this free stuff. And yet you'll see someone tell you, hey, man, all these rich, powerful people saying they're going to leave. These are the job creators. This is your tax base. They're going to leave. They're going to move. And you vote for them anyway. Why? Because you're young. You don't have any kids. You don't think, you're not thinking past your own pleasure. When you become a parent, and I'm not trying to take a jab at anybody without kids, but I'm just saying, this is true. When you become a parent, you understand it's things I want to do right now. I can't. I got a child. I got a wife. I got responsibilities. I'm a husband. Right? What's up, Rocky? I'm a husband, right? So I can't go out here and do the thing. I can't just hop a plane and go to some foreign country and just run through a bunch of women. Lord knows I make pretty good money. I work remote. I could take 2-3 weeks, won't nobody even know I'm gone. Get a VPN and go anywhere in the world and wild out if I want to. I can't do that, man. I got responsibilities. I got a wife, I got kids, I got mortgage. I got stuff, I got bills, man. And so I can't do that. Not only that, my son needs me. He needs his dad. I need to be here to be a father. So I need to be here to do. See what I'm saying? These things that single people don't have to think about that because they don't have to worry about, or not single people, just people without kids, don't have to worry about those types of things. They can, because guess what? They own the plane going and doing what they want to do. They going overseas. They doing these things. And I'm not knocking them. When you single with no kids, you going to be selfish. I mean, it is what it is. I've heard it said you're supposed to be selfish when you're single with no kids. So when you get married, it's all about somebody else. It's not about you, right? The only way a lot of times people are able to really get away with that is if they live their lives, right? So when you see people that are young and have no kids, they have no real responsibilities. Those are the people that talk these like mythological, fake fairy tale ideas of utopian societies where everybody gets stuff and everybody has the good motives. The rich guy is selfish and the poor guy, look, the only reason he's there is because he's being taken advantage of, right? The guy that walks in the factory with a high school diploma, hey, he's being taken advantage of, right? He walked in there with a high school diploma, no experience. They gave him $15, $20 the first year, and then he got a raise up to $25, $30 an hour. They're taking advantage of him because, yes, they're paying him $1,500 a week, but he's making $15,000 a week with his labor. See what I'm saying? So instead of $60,000, he's creating $600,000 worth of profit. Why can't he get some of that? Right? That's the mindset. That's why it's so popular to young people. Hey, man, socialism makes sense. Everybody gets a piece of the ownership. That just makes sense, right? Let me explain something to y'all, man. This is the truth. This is just life experiences, right? I had a comedy club, right? So I had a partner. Me and him didn't get along, right? Ex-drug dealer. Had a lot of money. I guess he felt like, okay, this guy done ran out of money, so I can kind of pull my weight a little bit. Me and this nigga kept arguing, right? I found myself doing most of the marketing. I was the one from so we were open Thursday. We were open on Thursday through, what day was it? God dang. Thursday through Sunday, right? Thursday was ladies' night. It would be free for ladies. Obviously, that was blowed out. Women were there, doing their thing, right? And, it is what it is. I was kind of upset about certain things, but I was like, you know what, man, at least I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Doing my thing, handling my business. So I ain't going to trip about it. I'm just not, right? But I was the one that was out there doing the hard work, the grunt work, if you will, that needed to be done. I was the one that was in the streets every day. I was the one going and doing the radio interviews. I was the one printing. You got to understand, 2008, 2009, this is the era of the flyer. Like if you promoted parties and concerts before, then you understand what I say. This was the era of the flyer, right? If you wanted to pub anything in 2000, before 2013, you needed to go print off about 5,000 flyers, right? That's just how it works, right? Back in that era. And so you find that a lot of people wound up, promoting their concerts and getting their flyers printed off, and you going around. So what are you doing? You're going around, you putting this stuff on cars, you're putting this stuff everywhere so that you can really get publicity, without radio play. Which, and then take in mind, we're at the radio stations every day. We're at the radio stations every day, talking to people, doing the drive at 5. The lady was talking to me. I paid thousands of dollars a week to do that. Right? I'm just being honest with you. That's how I did it. I paid thousands of dollars a week. That's how my commercials ran. It is right here. This is one of my commercials. Y'all probably don't hear that, do you? Let me share screen, man. Lord have mercy. It's probably not gonna let me log in. Let me see if I can do it this way. Give me 1 second. Cause I'm playing the commercial, y'all don't even hear it. Maybe I can download it. Let me do that. Download. That's one. And let me show you this one. So we did a series of events. And a lot of times I like to show receipts when I'm talking because people think, man, you're just talking. Like, all right, okay. I'm not just talking, guys. This is something I really did. And I'm explaining, I'm saying this for a reason. I'm going to explain what my experience was in doing this business. What was my experience? I had black employees. I had upwards of 17 black employees. I had like 150 seat place where people could come in, and certain people will work on Tuesdays and on Thursdays and Fridays. Some will work all 4 days. Some of them will work, you know what I'm saying, Saturdays and Sundays. So I have like 5 or 8. I had a DJ, I had a bartender, I had cooks. This is my real business that I did. So let me show y'all, let me let y'all listen to one of them.
Montgomery, get ready for the grand opening of the Last Dragon Comedy Pub, Montgomery's first comedy club, located at 3459 McGee Road in the McGee Mall Shopping Center, right down from Icons. It's the grand opening of the Last Dragon Comedy Pub, Friday, March 13th. Performing live, Hope Flood from BET Comic View and Def Comedy Jam.
Hey Montgomery, this is your girl, comedian Hope Flood from BET's Comic View and Def Comedy Jam. And I will be performing at the grand opening of Montgomery's first comedy club in the city.
Comedian Hope Flood.
Oh, your gas is so high. I asked the guy to take me out on a date to somewhere expensive. And he pulled up to the gas station and said, "Fill up, I'm treating."
Hosted by comedian Jamario.
It's the grand opening of the Last Dragon Comedy Pub, March 13th and 14th.
For more information, call 334-549-6958. The grand opening of the Last Dragon Comedy Pub.
Now, man, that brought back memories right there. That brought back some memories. Let me explain something to you, bro. I had flipped houses. I had done real estate, and by 2009, the real estate market was had crashed, right? And I was struggling. I had started running out of money. Houses was sitting, nobody was buying them. One of them, I didn't never finish because the guy kind of just Mexican guy, I ain't really tripping about it. He took a down payment about $2,500 to get started, didn't do nothing. My money was tight. I wasn't working, so all the money I had to live off of. And I took my last little bit of $20,000 and I dumped it into this comedy club, and I just knew it was gonna blow. Right? But I went and got a partner, black guy. Right? See, this is, and I'm trying to say this to brag. This is life experience that I'm talking about. This is not being bitter or angry towards these young people, because a lot of times young people just haven't been through these types of things to experience this type of stuff. When I tell you I bust my ass with this comedy club, that's what I did, guys. That's what I did.
Montgomery, get your laugh on at the Last Dragon Comedy Pub. The Last Dragon Comedy Pub, located at 3447D McGee Road in the McGee Mall Shopping Center.
Performing live is Marcus Combs.
What's up, Montgomery? It's your boy Marcus Combs. Yo, this weekend, Thursday through Sunday, 2 shows been added. See you this weekend. We're going to get our party on.
Showtimes Thursdays and Sundays at 8:30. Friday and Saturday nights, 2 shows at 8:30 and 10:30.
Montgomery, get your laugh on at the Last Dragon Comedy Pub with Marcus Combs performing live.
I spent so much money on this, man. I had to pay dude to make these commercials. So when I tell y'all I've been through it with business and dealing with black folks, I have. This is the last one right here. But I've been through it.
Montgomery, get your laugh on at the Last Dragon Comedy Club. This week performing live is Big Sean for BET Comedy View.
Remember, Thursday night is Free Ladies Night at 8:30. Friday and Saturday night, 2 shows at 8:30 and 10:30.
And Sunday night, it kicks off at 8.
I didn't even play the commercial with Shawty. Let me see. He had did a little voiceover with it too. Let me see what Shawty at. Is this it? I'm gonna download all my old commercials because Lord knows this is history for me. Let me see. I guess that's it. Yeah, these all my old commercials right here. I'm gonna just play them. Shawty. So this is, this is what I do, man. This is what I did. I kind of put myself in a situation, partnered with a guy, went out there, and I took my last little bit of money and I went out there and tried to make it happen, right? And this thing I knew, I found myself struggling to run the business because people were stealing. I found myself struggling in my business because people were lying to me. People were behind my back going and trying to help other clubs because they didn't like me. For no apparent reason. People that worked at my club, these are black people, for no apparent reason, the people that worked at my club that had not taken the risk that I had taken, they don't understand what it took me to do that, right? This is my last little bit of money. Guys, my first house took me 2 years to get done, okay? I bust my ass, okay? I took every dime I had, I scrunched up to get, and I put that money in my first house. It took me 2 years, guys. I was going to the bookstore reading. I didn't have no money. I was struggling, right? Thank God sent me an olive branch, and I was able to get the house done and get it fixed and get it sold, right? Second house took me a year, okay? So we talking 3 years in before I even got some momentum. 3 years of blood, sweat, and tears, literally. I'm talking all three of those, right? I get rolling. By 2006, things kind of happen. It all comes together right after my dad died, right? Everything just starts rolling, right? And I'm doing good. 2006, 2007, it slows down near the end of 2007, 2008, there we go. Bottom falls out, right? I didn't know that though. I take my money and I go into real estate. I said, well, man, I go into the comedy club. And why you say, man, he always talking about this comedy club. Because it's one thing, this is why I relate to the business owner way before I relate to the employee. I understand what it's like to sign the front of the check. And I tell people, until you sign the front of the check yourself, especially young people, they always are going to tend to lean towards the employee mindset, supporting the employee. The employee is right. The employee is getting manipulated. See, part of being susceptible to Marxism is that you believe that the business owner is taking advantage of the employee. See, if that club had a blowed out, I had 150 seats. Do the math. I'm charging $10. Let's say every show sells out, right? Just hear me out. Every show sells out. You got alcohol, drinks. I got to pay my comedian, light, gas, water, whatever, right? I would have been making 30 plus another. I've been making about 90,000 a week if it just blowed out, which it wasn't going to do, right? That would have been $100,000 a week, roughly. Before that's gross. I probably would have netted about, I say about. Right now, it was costing me about $7,000-8,000 a month. Rough, actually more than that, but somewhere in there, about 7, 8. I had to do the it was about 12 actually. It's about 12 because we was barely making it. It's about $12,000 a month. It took me to run it. By the time I paid the comedians, paid for marketing, you got to understand, per commercial, you're talking $25 to $50. 25 at the dead times when it's slow, $50 for the drive at 5, $100 during Steve Harvey. Just that's what it was back then. I don't know what it is now, but that's what it was. When Steve Harvey was on in the morning, I had to pay $100, and I would try to run 2 commercials Just do the math. Monday through Friday. Really, I would put 2 of them on Thursdays and Fridays, and then I would do just $100 commercial on Monday through Wednesday. That's what I would do. And I would talk about ladies' night being free on Thursdays. And guess what my biggest night was? Ladies' night. Because nobody wants to pay. Black people want stuff for free. See, y'all think people come on my channel, man, he just hate black folks. He just got a problem with his own people. It's not that I hate black people. I've dealt with black people extensively. Guys, I'm not just pulling this out my behind. I'm just telling you what it is. I've done this. I spent all this money, right? Got the commercials. So all these expenses, how much money I'm spending, that's one of my biggest expenses. Was paying the marketing on the radio station. Paying for flyers. I'm pumping out every 2 weeks. I'm pumping out 5,000 flyers. It's $100 every 5,000 flyers. But I'm pumping them out every week. I'm out there giving out 5,000 flyers every 2 weeks. 2,500. So every day I'm putting out 500 flyers. Think about it. I'm flooding the city. I'm riding around. This is me, right? It was a full-time job. Even though we was closed Sunday? Well, actually, we was closed Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'm busting my behind, right? All over the city. I'm at the mall. I'm talking to everybody. I'm riding all out to Selma, Alabama. I'm riding to Troy, Alabama, like 20, 30 miles away, 50 miles away. I'm doing everything I can to promote my business, right? And I never forgot how I got treated from my own people. My so-called people, right? I always tell a story of them riding the clock on me. I always tell that story of people, everybody in the kitchen lied, okay? I'm paying those guys, I think at the time I was paying like $10. Man, them dudes would come in there, like say we open at, so we'll have an 8 o'clock show on Thursday. They'll come log in at 6:30 and go back outside. Because I'll be in there cleaning up, sweeping, doing different things. I like to burn incense. I was very big on my place smelling clean. Clorox and pine salt. When you came in there, it smelled very clean. That's my mindset. I kept my kitchen spotless. I would burn incense when you came in, so it had a real good sweet smell, not overpowering, because I would leave the doors open to let the scent come out, but you can kind of smell a little singe of it when you walk in, right? And I was always getting compliments of how clean it was. The comedians would crack jokes, but guess what? I love that type of, mindset. And they would come in there and I had a music playing, bump blasting. Hey man, what's up? We talk. I ain't think nothing of it. They'll be talking. So they got to the point they'll come in there and try to get me to walk in the back and talk about something. And they in there clocking in. They did that for like months, bro. This is the type of stuff niggas do. This is what it takes to help the community, right? To provide jobs in the community. This is what it takes to get stabbed. You're going to get a knife in your back if you're a black person or black man trying to run a business in the hood, in the black community, not even in the hood, just in the black community alone. That's par for the course. They're going to stab you. They're going to rob you. They're going to get over, not rob, but you could rob you, right? They going to get over. That's what they going to do. That's how the game go. See what I'm saying? Let me say this, man. I want us to really think this thing through, bro. When you look at the young people today, you ain't lived long enough. A lot of them haven't lived long enough to really know what I'm talking about. I'm talking from experience. I'm a conservative because I have had experience. You know what I'm saying? That's the bottom line. When I say what I say, I'm telling you from a place of experience. I've lived it. I've been out here. I done fell on my face. I done been broke. Guys, when this comedy club shut down, them niggas was laughing at me. Oh, let's go there. I was the laughing stock. Yeah, but them niggas was orgasmic. I would see people when I was waiting on tables, and they would point and scream and laugh. Bro, you know how hard, listen, tell y'all something, man. That is the hardest thing to deal with. I hated to see people that knew I was the owner of the comedy club come in there and see me waiting on tables. But I ain't have enough. I had enough sense to say, you know what? I ain't gonna have no pride about it. I'm gonna just stay here and work and let them, this between me and the Lord. Let me tell y'all something. I'm gonna go ahead and confess this, bro. When I left that comedy club, because me and my partner kept getting into it, right? We wouldn't make no money, making no money. I had run out of all my money by then because the business was hemorrhaging money, right? I knew he was gonna fail if I left because I was the marketing. I was the one putting the flyers out. I was the one on the radio station. I was the one, and I'm more friendly to people, so to speak. When it came, I understood the importance of having a business and being nice to the customer. He just want to sit in the back and chill and don't do nothing, right? And I knew he wasn't gonna be no dog and get out there and hustle. So me and him got in an argument. I say, look, man, you can have it. I'm out. Shocked him. He couldn't believe it. I just took control of the situation. I said, you know what? I'm out, man. You can have it. I'm out. You ain't gotta give me nothing. Right? And man, about a month later, he was shut down. He couldn't, because he wasn't nobody coming. I think he did one good week where he had one good show where he did an open mic. I think that weekend. He had some little dating thing where people wanted to talk about black dating and black love and all that. About a couple of weeks later, they was shut down because wasn't nobody coming. Nobody was hustling. Right? He went and dragged my name through the mud, man. I'm telling you what I know. The dude dragged my name through the mud, told people he ran me off from my business. I am not lying to you. This nigga told people he ran me from my business. It was my idea. He said, I ran that nigga off. Black folks, do y'all know how hard that was? Do you understand what it's like to know that your name is being dragged and just have to sit there when you bust your ass and it felt like at the time it was my life's work. It felt like, because you got to understand, I had bust my ass all those years. This was the culmination of all that real estate and all that I had done, and it just flopped. And I'm sitting there broke with my account in the negative, struggling to pay my cell phone bill. And I'm getting laughed at. I'm hearing every time I go somewhere, man, I heard that nigga ran you from your club. I heard this and I heard that. Bro, I cried myself to sleep. Listen to me. I cried myself to sleep for about 2 or 3 weeks. I was hurt, bro. I was heartbroken. So when I come up here and I talk about about capitalism and saying the stuff I say about black people, and I dealt with niggas. I done been on the receiving end of niggatry. I done had black folks stab me in the back over and over and over. I know what it's like to come into the community and try to run a business and see how they stab you, how they hate your guts. Because you had the audacity, the unmitigated gall as a black man to try to start a business and you black? Oh, we hate you, nigga. We hate you. We gonna try to destroy you. We gonna steal. We gonna ride the clock, lie. We gonna go tell all your business and gossip with all the other businesses and everything. We gonna lie on you. And when you fail, guess what, nigga? We gonna laugh at you. Now, I never ran a business. I never promoted concerts. I never did that. But I'm gonna laugh at you when you fail. I'm gonna laugh when you don't succeed. That's the truth. And that's what I saw. I saw a lot of black people laughing. Literally laugh. I've never laughed at a man because he didn't succeed in business. I never thought you would listen. I'm just being straight up. I was young and naive. At the time, I thought that black people wouldn't laugh at. I'm like, man, ain't nobody finna laugh at me for not succeeding. Ain't nobody finna laugh at me for not making no money. Ain't nobody, man, come on, man. That's crazy. I learned very fast how jealous black people are, how hateful they are. Bro, when Plies, let me tell you something. When Plies came to Dothan, I did a concert. Y'all want to hear that commercial? Let me know. I downloaded it, play it for y'all. But I did a Plies concert. I did 2 of them. Did one in Troy, did one in Dothan, Alabama, right? When I did the Plies concert, the people in Dothan kept lying. So somebody started a rumor saying, we lying. Plies ain't coming. So what I wanted to do was get Plies to do a radio interview on a radio station, and he refused to do it. But they had announced that he was going to do it, which ruined our event. Right? Plies. That's why his ass is not hot right now, because you're supposed to go above and beyond to make sure that the promoters, you're supposed to help the promoters promote your events so that they can make money, so they can keep booking you. If I had made money, guess what? That could have been most shows, but he's too stupid. See, a lot of times with rappers, that's why it was a dumb idea. I should have never did it, right? But nonetheless, didn't know. I didn't know no better. See this? I'm telling all these stories because I done dealt with niggas. I done dealt with trying to run businesses. I done promoted events, and I'm trying to tell y'all, it is not what you think it is to run a business. Business owners are not wealthy. Everybody that's running a business ain't rich. If they struggle 5, 10, 15 years, and all of a sudden they figure it out, here you come with a high school diploma, you ain't paid no dues, but you feel entitled. Come on, say amen. You feel entitled to come in and get part ownership. I'm sorry. I think that's ungodly. I think that's ungodly. I think anytime you trying to reap where you haven't sown, it's ungodly. You didn't sow here. Why are you trying to reap here? You reap what you sow. Well, guess what? You didn't sow the seeds. You just went to school, graduated from high school, got your diploma, and you've been working at little dead-end jobs, and now you come in here and you had this mindset. I saw it firsthand when my dad had a daycare. I saw niggas come and ramshack my dad's business when he was trying to grow something his last years of his life. They ramshacked his business because we caught you stealing. I caught you stealing. We didn't press charges. You send some niggas in there to ramshack and destroy my dad's business, pour paint on the carpet, pour cement down the toilet. Come on, man. This is the typical mindset of the average black person in the black community. They do stuff like that. They do. You like, no, man, it ain't average. Look here, bro. The pouring cement down the toilet, I saw it a couple of times. I've seen cement down the toilet about 4 or 5 times. I ain't even trying to be funny. I saw somebody, I don't know what it is when people get angry at people, they go and buy cement and put it in the toilet and stir it up. By the time you wait a day or two to come down, that junk hard as a brick, it done messed up your plumbing and all that. That's what they want. They want to hit you. They go and bust your walls out. Snatch your wires out of there. Turn the breakers off and start snatching your wires. Now you got to get an electrician. Money. They trying to screw you out of thousands of dollars. They bust up your HVAC. I seen that before. You know what I'm saying? Black folks don't understand that, man. We think, and especially not just black people, young people don't understand what it takes, man. Let me tell y'all something, man. I've been through some situations, man. I gave a dude $4,300 for some trucking. That nigga ain't give me a dime back, man. I was going to have to sue him. I wanted to kill him. I'm telling the truth. I had a contract. I wanted to kill that nigga, man. I was this close to getting a hit put out. I'm telling you, dead serious. I don't know how close it was. I was to getting him killed, bro. Real talk. Like, yeah, bro, I talked to some dude. They said they'd come up from some Haitian dudes I had met down in Miami. They said, man, I give that dude $5,000. He come here and kill your ass. Know why I didn't do it? Because I fear God. I said, man, God ain't going to bless that. If I kill this man, God ain't going to bless me. So I let it go. That's what I did. That's what I did. I'm going to let something play, man. This is my book. I'm going to play chapter 6. Check this out.
Chapter 6, Marxism versus conservatism. What Marxism is. Marxism is an idea started by a man named Karl Marx. It says that there are 2 main groups in society: the rich people who have a lot of money and power, and the poor people who work hard but have little. Marxism teaches that the only way to make things fair is to take away private property, limit religion, and let the government control money and resources. Marxism also wants to change traditional things like families and churches. It believes that society is always fighting between the rich and the working people. Marxists think sharing wealth and power can fix these problems. even if it means stirring up conflict to make change happen.
Marxism has three main ideas.
Let's break it down. Marxism rests on three main ideas: class struggle, materialism, and anti-religion.
Now, class struggle. The 1%ers are taking advantage of the poor. You heard that? Have y'all heard that before? Because I just heard that a couple hours ago on my channel. From a brother that says he's a capitalist, right? Talking about the whole thing. The whole video was about class warfare. That's what he was talking about. I was talking about individual responsibility. When you're not aware that that's what you're doing, you think, you see, because you got a lot of, I've had a few brothers on my channel just this last couple of months that from the other channel and that video's backed up on Rumble, but just in the last couple of months, I've had a few people on my channel that espouse Marxist talking points and the bullet points of Marxism. And now I'm gonna get into materialism, because that's very interesting when you start talking about materialism. Materialism is pretty much the idea that the only thing that exists is that's it. There's nothing else but what we can see, feel, and touch, right? So, for example, if someone comes up and says, "Hey, man, do you know that the church is godly? I mean, people have left the church. Society is godless. Da 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 da. Whoop de whoop." Right? When people say that, what they hear is, "Man, I don't want to hear that, man. Really, the reason people are failing is because of this or that. That ain't got nothing to do with it. They really don't want to deal with the supernatural, just the natural, right? What we can see, feel, and touch. What is material? Materialism, right? Those are those are the main two. I mean, obviously, we can talk about the removal of faith, and that the government should be the end all be all, because the idea a lot of times turns into, let's push towards government intervention. So government intervention outside of going to the church, going to God. We've heard that before recently, right? Let's not focus on the supernatural. Let's focus on the physical and the natural, and how the government and how this isn't this and this isn't that. And it's not the person. It's this, now we get into the class part. We say it's not the person, it's the wealthy. The wealthy are ruining the situation. They're ruining it for the poor. See how this works? It's all a big circle, guys. That's all. It's a big circle. Let's keep going.
Each one shapes how Marxists see the world. But as we'll see, each one also falls short of the truth that Scripture teaches. Number one, class struggle. What it means. According to Marxism, all of human history is really just a fight between those who have power and those who don't. The rich control the resources, while the working class does the labor.
Sound familiar? When you think like that, you are a Marxist by definition. Sometimes I think when we say the word Marxist, people don't really know what they're talking about. People don't know that's what they're espousing. You call yourself a capitalist, or you think, no, I'm not a Marxist. You are by definition. If you out here whining about the 1%, do I say that everybody in the 1% is good? No, people in the 1% there are people that are in the 1% that are doing evil things. I'm not sitting up here trying to defend the 1%. And if and when we can make an effect change to stop them from, controlling Washington, for example, Congress, getting rid of the Epstein list on both Democrats and Republicans, pushing a certain idea, narrative, and ideology. Having Mossad run a blackmailing campaign out in the Caribbean with Jeffrey Epstein, just, stuff like that, right? Those are things that we all have to acknowledge exist. And I know those things are controlled by a small oligarchy of rich, powerful executives or people in certain environments. And they're usually from the 1%. Nobody's stupid, right? So let's say out of, I don't know how many 1%ers we have in this society. We got about 3 million, 2 million, something like that, right? Whatever it is, 1.8, whatever. 1.8, 1.6 million, right? Out of that 1.6 million, you only probably talking about 2,000-3,000 of them that's really pulling all the strings. That's really doing all the dirt if we want to keep it above. That's the truth.
That constant tension, they say, is what drives social change. Why it matters. Marxists believe that if wealth and power were shared equally, society would be free of oppression. No rich, no poor, just one class. It sounds fair in theory, but it ignores the heart of the problem.
This is the thing right here. This is why it is. This works with the youth because it's a utopian society. And if you ain't never ran a business, you ain't never had to deal with getting laughed at. You ain't never had to deal with trying to run a concert, dealing with stealing and all that. You don't understand that the idea that everybody shouldn't be able to just walk in out the street cold turkey and have part ownership of something that you bust your ass and put out blood, sweat, and tears to have. You get what I'm saying? I think a business is a little different than the next. Everybody just thinks and assumes that if a person is making money, they're a millionaire. I literally had black people argue with me when I had my comedy club. You got the money. That's how they would come to me. You got the money. I know you got it. I know you got it. This is how they would talk to me. And I'm broke. I'm hemorrhaging money, losing money. I ain't have no money. I know you got it. This is why you see businesses getting boarded up and failing all the time. Right? My problem was trying to do business in a low moral character with a low moral character people. The truth. Can I be honest with you? If I had to redo this, right? If I was going to do something in entertainment, you know what I would do? Gospel plays. Why? You can control your costs a lot better with that. Comedy club, not as much. I could have took that same amount of money, booked a show that had been a success, went and got me a couple of key celebrities. Like at the time, and this is what I was entertaining before I did my comedy club. Y'all remember the show I Love New York, right? Remember the guy named Buddha? Buddha from Florida. Buddha was cool as hell, man. I talked to Buddha on the phone. Buddha said he'll come up, get a hotel, do my show, do 2 nights on the show. Buddha said, man, he'll do a celebrity basketball tournament. He said he'll go do radio in spots and everything. Me and Buddha talked about an hour, man, about all types of stuff. Buddha was cool as hell. Comedian Reggie Reg out of Chicago. Talked to him. He said he would come down. That bro said, man, give him $1,500, $2,000. He said he would have came down and worked. And comedian Reggie Reg was a fool. You ain't seen. Reggie Reg does the best impersonations ever. He was going to come down. He's going to do Denzel. And I was going to have him out there. He was going to turn it up. Right? I wasn't going to charge but like $15 for a ticket, bro. I was going to blow it out. No. You know why I didn't do it? I wanted a cash cow and I didn't want to take a risk. And if it failed, because I had done the concerts, if it failed, I would have just lost all my money. And I didn't want to do that. But a gospel play, I probably could have pulled that whole thing off about $14,000. Plus marketing. I didn't do it. You know why the gospel play? Security. I ain't have to worry about security like that. You need security, but not as much. People going to gospel plays ain't really thinking. I could have got some local celebrities, local gospel singers, because there's a lot of people around Montgomery that can sing. They all bring a crowd. Could have did that. It would have been cheap. Guess what? I wouldn't have had to put that much money out. Right? But what I'm saying is, when you deal with your own people, you got to understand that this is a microcosm of what you're going to deal with in a utopian society. It's going to be the same thing. So why are people talking this? Why is this class warfare talk so popular and so strong among the youth, especially amongst black people? Because a lot of us haven't ran a business. I think a lot of people should try to run a business because it teaches them the idea, it teaches the mindset and mentality that is failure. You got to understand what it's like to take a risk, spend thousands of dollars on something, have it fail, and have to pick up the pieces. And then you come out here talking about you deserve ownership because you part owner. Man, I should get ownership, man. That ain't right, man. That's the mindset of Marxists. They think they own you. Listen, I think it is immoral. I really do. I think it's ungodly for you to think you deserve part ownership of something that somebody put their blood, sweat, and tears in. I think it's ungodly. I really do.
Human nature itself. Greed, envy, and pride don't disappear just because wealth is redistributed. What it leads to, this belief often pushes Marxists to a revolution, taking power from the rich and handing it to the state. But history shows that replacing one ruling class with another rarely brings peace. Christians, by contrast, believe in helping the poor and seeking justice, but we do it through love, reconciliation, and personal responsibility, not endless class warfare. As Jesus said in Matthew 5:9, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Number 2, materialism. What it means. Marxism teaches that the material world, food, shelter, money, and labor, is the most important factor shaping human life. Change the economy.
Let me tell you something. When somebody comes up and they say these, is this not what you hear people say? A lot of young people are Marxists through and through. They don't even know it. What's up? What's up, O? What's up, man? Let me know if you want the link. I'm put the link in the chat. What's up? What's up, MT?
Hey, what's up, sub?
Ain't that, man?
Congratulations on getting the channel back.
Oh yeah.
You know, hopefully it'll continue to flourish, man. Yeah, man, I was in and out on catching some of the show earlier, man. So just to piggyback on what you were saying, you know, I don't want to seem like we're ganging up on the brother that you were speaking with earlier, but man, you kind of, you know, I know you told the story, sir.
Yo,
Be honest, sir, you kind of giving me PTSD. You kind of giving me PTSD with the stories because it brought back a memory about, I mean, it's actually a rental property I still have right now. You know, when I first acquired it back in the day, you know, you hear the horror stories or whatnot. And I acquired the property and it was already occupied, right? And so when at the closing, I actually, you know, they give me the keys. I actually walked away from the closing with money because they gave me the deposits to the people that were currently in there, right?
Yeah.
And they were in there for like the next 2.5 years. I was like, man, this thing's a piece of cake. I mean, what's so hard about renting real estate, you know? And then the lady that was in there, she was a nurse, and she you know, she bought a home, and so she was ready to move out. I'm thinking, okay, I'll get this thing back up and running in about a month, 2 at max. And you know, I'm gonna be honest, in the back of my mind, I'm like, matter of fact, I'm kind of happy because now you know, I can charge what I really wanted to charge for it, right? Man, so that's when I learned how niggas in Atlanta get down. Within about 2 weeks of that, of it being unoccupied, they ripped the whole patio doors off the back.
There you go.
Left a gaping hole in it, and I'm like, okay. I see. I gotta be very mindful of getting this thing back up the par. Got that done. I came out of pocket for it. I was like, bump it. Then they bust out some windows. And the way they bust them, well, I don't know how they were tearing stuff out, but it messed up the frame. And I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna let insurance handle it, right? Because it was like, I was like, man, my deductible's like $500. I'll go on and pay that. And actually, when the adjuster came out, he went and got all the windows replaced, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. Right when it's about ready, and I'm coming there every day after work, painting, laying tile in the bathroom, all that stuff. Right when I'm about ready, I'm like, okay, I'm about. Now, mind you, just 3 months in. I thought it was gonna be a month at first. I'm like, okay, I'm about ready. Come back one day, I'm like, I must be dreaming. I know I'm not looking at what I'm looking at. I walk in the living room, you see where a big strip is like by the fireplace is ripped up. I'm like, what were they trying to do here? Walked outside, they done cut the that was back when people were stealing a bunch of copper. You remember that, sub?
Yeah, before they started getting the IDs and that's
Yeah.
what
They had cut the HVAC from out, they the heat pump from outside
it was
and
under the
ripped
house.
it.
Yeah. Hello? Hello? MT, do y'all hear me? Or is it me? Let me know. Type of one if y'all hear me. Because I don't know if is it just this phone? Type of one in the chat. Okay. So it must be just his phone. But I wanted to say this, bro. Like, I've been down this road a million times of getting laughed at, getting dragged, getting stuff stolen. Man, I done had people break in, steal all types of stuff. Man, my first house, man, the one that took me 2 years, man, niggas just destroyed my windows, man. I went and sat and put my windows in there as a kid. I mean, I'm not a kid, but you know, I'm up there. I went and got me a propane torch, sat there and blowed all the doggone old window glaze out of there, took a screwdriver and putty knife, cleaned it out, put me some new glass window panes in there, right? Sat there and put some new window glaze in there, caulked all the windows up across the front, across the side. I did this in one weekend, right? Bro, I leave. That was like Sunday when I get done. I leave, right? Because at the time I got my mobile car wash. I ride back by the house on like a Thursday, maybe 3-4 days later, right? Bro, they done bust every window out. Every window was bust, bro. Somebody sat there and took rocks and threw them through and bust. Bro, I'm gonna tell you something. Just about everybody that runs a business got horror stories like this. Because I'm like, bro, to bust windows out, that's just hateful. It's not like you going in the house. Why just sit there? You know, it take time and effort to bust all the windows. This is what I saw. Man, you just jaded, man. You just jaded. You hate your own people. I'm getting tired of hearing people say that. People are saying I hate my own people. When it's all said and done, I don't hate black folks. I don't hate them. I just have come to the realization that when you run a business, when you're doing things in society, in this culture, you're going to be faced with the harsh reality of dealing with niggatry. It is inescapable. And because you deal with niggatry, that is one of the number one reasons I will never, ever support Marxism, socialism, or communism. Because those people that was stealing from me when I started my business, that was riding my clock, they already had an entitlement mentality. This is why I say poor people are some of the most selfish people you will ever meet, because they think they have a moral right to take. They think that God is on their side because they watch the propaganda on television telling them that the rich are selfish, that the rich are the ones, the 1%ers, right? They're the ones that's taking advantage of everybody. Meanwhile, the brother that's trying to get out the hood, that's trying to actually be productive in society, they hate your damn gut. Listen to me, bro. You black and you run a business, they hate you. You are the enemy. They hate your guts. They laugh. I mean, you listen to a brother that I'm talking about, it was at least 4 different occasions. I know those people's names. I remember their faces. I remember the first time I got laughed at, I was working at a place called Baumhauer's, right? Baumhauer's is this place I was working at. And I was, me, I'm not too proud, bro, to get a job, man. Regardless, I'm not too proud to take my butt out there and wait on tables. I do it in Ohio. I go do it today. You can tell that. I'm not one of those guys that's, oh, you should be out here. No, I'll go out there today and do whatever I got to do to feed my family. Dig ditches. I'm that guy, right? I will get my hands dirty. Watch cars. That's me, right? And so money was gone. They had no money. I'm waiting on jobs. I'm trying to get an interview. So I got a job waiting on tables. And when I get the job waiting on tables, my homeboy, supposed friend of mine, walks in, him and another guy named Rodriguez. Rodriguez saw me because they had got sat. I walked, they sat in my section because they asked for my, I guess Walker asked for my section. They sat in my section. I come around the corner. I said, man, what's up? Man, that nigga Rodriguez like to piss test. That nigga laughed for about 5 minutes straight. That nigga was crying, laughing at me. Crying. I said, bro, why are you laughing? That nigga said, oh, how the mighty have fallen. That's what he said. I was like, I just stood there with a straight face. I was hurt, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was hurt because the other dude's supposed to be my homeboy. He's smirking. He laughing. He kind of giggling. man, you down bad, ain't you? That's what he said. The dude that he came with, that's supposed to be my homeboy, I paid his ass to do security at the door. I was paying that nigga $12 an hour at my comedy club. He was the main one going around town telling everybody. It's like he was happy. That nigga was orgasmic. You hear me? That nigga was telling everybody. Man, that nigga should have did this. Yeah, that nigga, man, yeah. And Red done ran him off. He ran with that lie. No, he did. He's only my homeboy. He didn't call me and ask me. Like, bro, Red ain't run me off from my club, man. That's my club. I'm the one that started it. I told him I ain't want to do it no more. Because I saw it wasn't working. I was busting my ass. We was spinning our wheels. Me and him kept arguing. I got burned out. You will get burned out. Go work a business 6 months every day, not making no money, struggling. I ain't have no money. Guys, you know how I was eating? I would go to my own comedy club, grab about 3 or 4 pieces of chicken, put them in the grease with some fries. That's how I was eating and surviving once a day. That's what I was doing. Oh, man. That's how I was surviving, bro. Eating the food at the club. Struggling. Bro, I sat, like I told y'all, man, I cried like a baby when I left that comedy club, man. That was my baby. So it was like a big deal for me to see these niggas laughing at me. But yet they deserve part ownership. That's why I can't stand Marxism. Marxism is demonic from the pits of hell. You hear me? One of the biggest principles in the Bible, one of my favorite parables in the Bible is the parable of the talents. Right? Each according to his ability was given a talent, which like Odal was talking about the other day, a talent is 20 years of labor. Somebody gives you a talent or ability to do something, everybody doesn't handle it the right way. 2 guys doubled what they could, but not everybody, according to the parable of the talents, not everybody had the same level of talent and ability. One guy could manage 5, one guy could manage 2, one guy's supposed to be able to manage 1. Each according to his what? Ability. So when I sit and I look at this younger generation and they're more susceptible, it's because they are materialists. They do believe in the natural. They do believe in government answers. They do believe in class warfare. They believe in that because they have given up on the human spirit. They don't believe that the abilities that God gave them are strong. See, let me tell you something. Turn this. I got this little heater running. I'm gonna turn it off. Look here, man. Tell y'all something. The God I serve, man, it ain't no, listen, when God on my side, can't nobody, listen, let me tell you something. One of my favorite passages of scripture is when David went to the battlefield and saw the Philistine out there, Goliath, mouthing off. And what did he say? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine mouthing off to the people of God, to the army of God? He was like, man, what's wrong with y'all? Don't y'all know who we serve? Come on, man. People love to talk. They talk about God. They talk about serving God. They talk about having him at the center of their lives, this and that. But then when it comes time to really live it out, well, you know, the government needs to come in and fix this, and the government, wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute. Me and Odal was talking about this earlier. Me let MT finish. I'm going to let Odal talk. Well, MT, you here? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm back, man. I have no idea what point it cut off. I was just talking and talking. I mean, I think I was at the point where I was speaking on the first time my HVAC had gotten messed up. Did you catch that part?
Yeah. You say you walked in there and they had ripped the thing in front of
Yeah,
the fireplace and cut the
yeah,
wires outside.
yeah. And they I had to put another claim in. They came back out, put a new one out there. Said they're gonna put the cage out there. They put it in, finished up, laid it. Well, right before it got dark, I was like, when y'all gonna put the cage? They was like, then y'all say y'all was gonna put it at the same time. They're like, oh, the guy we got contract is coming in the morning. I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? I come back and they done got it again. So the only bright side, they didn't. It's probably a whole different crew. They didn't go and tear up everything. They just cut the piece right by the
Bro, that's still
leading to the house.
That's still about $2,000-$3,000 they missed you. I know they did.
Yeah, I had to do a whole nother claim. Now check this out. They came and did it, and the guy that I went and got my own person to do it. I was like, I'm not dealing with them. I got the guy to put it out there, and he put the cage out there at the same time. But guess what? I get in the mail about 5 days later.
What? The insurance?
You've filed too many claims in too short a period of time. Therefore, your insurance will be canceled effective such and such date, which was like 10 days from the time I got the letter. I'm ready. I already am ready to put the thing on the market. I mean, on the market to rent, and they're telling me my insurance is getting canceled. I can't get any standard insurance, so Progressive won't cover. I was with State Farm. Progressive wouldn't cover me. Allstate, they like, no.
Yeah.
So I had to get like this. I couldn't tell you the name of it. So it was some like last chance type insurance. Based on the only thing it was gonna cover.
They hit you across the head.
Oh yeah. I mean, the deductible was so high, sub. It was basically like, look, unless a tornado come through or this thing burned down, you will never. This is just insurance, just to say you got it for mortgage purposes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I had no choice, so I get this insurance put on it. But it's still, by the time the policy is going to kick in, it's going to lapse. So, man, from midnight, I'm not even playing. So I called out to work it was like a Thursday, I believe. That Wednesday night, when that thing lapsed, I sat in the driveway of that property until the next policy was going to kick in. Because in between that time, if anything had happened, it was all on me. If somebody came in there and tore the shreds,
let me ask you this. And this is the mindset when you talk about stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when people come in, like when you talk to the average black person and a lot of young people, they'll say that crime is because of the systemic oppression. This has to do with the burning down of Black Wall Street, right? Because they burned down Black Wall Street, these niggas came and snatched your thing repeatedly. And they thought they was slick. These niggas got about 3 units up out of you. Not to mention the wires and all the other stuff they done snatched and tried to sell, the copper. Because my thing is, you snatch it and you try to go steal. You sell my unit, get $100. Nigga, I'll give you $100 before you snatch my copper out of there.
What you talking about?
I mean, man, $100 before you snatch my copper, bro. If you don't snatch my copper, I'm gonna give you more than what it is. I'll put a note in there. Look, before you snatch this copper, I will give you $200. All you gotta do is just show
niggas.
Me.
I think niggas but it's like you said, they want to be destructive. They want to not see niggas come up. Because check this out, sir. Okay. I stay there. I make sure the policy. I call the next morning. I call the 1-800 number. I was like, the policy effect on blah 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 address. It's like, yes, Mr. MT. It's now active. I was like, thank you. Check this out. I put the for rent sign in the yard. It was like it was like some out of a movie. I put the for rent sign in the yard. I pull out. I'm driving back home. Probably 15 minutes later, my phone starts blowing up. Oh, yes, I was calling about the property, such and such. Da, 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 da. I'm saying to myself, So this must be the people that, more than likely, this is people that's right there in the neighborhood that's seeing this sign. I'm like, y'all, half of y'all probably were calling prior to the property being ready, telling them, yeah, they got a new unit out there. You come on over here and
Yeah.
But soon as it became available, I'm like, man, I ain't taking. I went back out there and took the sign back up. I'm like, man, let me get a property management company to vet this stuff, because
Yeah.
niggas is gonna be niggas.
Them niggas probably left behind you, man, on the backside, on the other side, on the other street, probably just peeking over the fence waiting.
Yeah. So
they want to rent it out so they can get the key and lie and say something happened, and now they done gutted you. They gut you this time, you screwed. I'm selling it. I'm not. If I can't get good insurance, I'm not renting, because I know I've seen the damage one ignorant nigga can do.
It's had its ups and downs, but it's just the fact that when something like that happens, speaking on that brother earlier, man, it's not all rainbows and unicorns out here, man. I mean,
that's the expectations of the average Negro that thinks like a Marxist is that everybody, the workers, deserve part ownership of businesses that they didn't vet. Let me explain something. The money it takes to start a lot of businesses is people's life savings. That was my life savings that went up in that comedy club them niggas was laughing at me about. Let me tell you something. When I say it's like, bro, it's like your family member died and somebody laughing at you. That's how I felt. It's like your brother or your mama or somebody, your sister is dead and niggas is laughing. That's how I felt. Bro, listen. Let me tell you, I never forget one night. We married now, but back then, me and my girl was just dating. And I just sat there and I just woke up at like 3 a.m. and it just hit me, bro. I was crying. I just couldn't take it, bro. I was hurt, man. I was like, Lord, man, it's just like, God, what's going on, man? It's like I'm just, because I gave it my all, bro. I mean, I literally fought tooth and nail to make that business survive, bro. I gave it. I fought, man. I mean, I was not going to go out of business easily. I fought hard as I could, right? And for it to go down and go under, and for people to be laughing and talking and gossiping behind my back, and bro, that was I felt like I was depressed. It's probably the first time in my life I was depressed for longer than maybe a couple of days. We all go through depression for a couple of times, but I was depressed for like weeks, bro. I just would be, and I knew I was depressed because I would just start crying in the middle of the day. Like I'd be somewhere. I didn't leave the house. I was at my girl house. I wouldn't go nowhere. I didn't want to work out. I didn't want to go play ball because I didn't want to see nobody and have them talk about it. Every time I saw somebody, hey man, I heard what happened. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like your girl got took by some dude. He beat your ass in front of everybody. And you getting laughed at. That's the mind. It's just like, it just hurts. It's like, oh my God. Like, that's how I felt. It was just, and I never forgot that pain. And just for me, I just cannot, for the life of me, understand this jealousy. And that's what it is. It's jealousy of, well, these the one percenters. And it's like, no, the 1%ers are people. A lot of those people are people that started their businesses and are successful. One of my favorite channels is School of Hard Knocks. Sir, can I ask you how you made your first million? And these people sit and listen to these people. Listen to them. Yeah, I made $10 million one year. I made $8 million. I'm worth 25. I'm worth 100 million. Listen to them. They all went broke. They took everything they had and risked and went broke 3 or 4 times before they figured it out. Miss me with this. Why I hate communists. I hate socialists. I hate Marxists because I understand not the person, but I hate the ideology. I think it is of the devil. I think it is unjust. I think it's unfair. I think it's unwarranted. And I think it's destructive. And dare I say, why would you want to focus on building a culture and society that's geared towards, like I say, sowing where you have never reaped? As it in having an entitlement mindset as if you deserve, when you know good God's greener if you don't. That's true.
Yeah, well, so I think, and I don't think it's, I mean, it's absolutely necessary for someone to, during their life, to start a business. But at the same time, I do believe um, people probably should keep their opinions to themselves on what they think. Just as you just said, in terms of what somebody that's running a business, um, like you said, they just think everybody's just flush with cash and that they deserve some of it. And it's kind of
I
almost to
mean,
me
when
like a
somebody sit there
parent.
and tell me you got it, I know you got it. I know you
Yeah.
got it. Like when I hear that from Nick, I mean, I've had a girl that she worked and she waited on tables. This girl was from Auburn. I never forget. She worked, waited on tables like 2 days and quit. Came up to get her money for those hours she worked. We talking $20, $25. But bro, at the time, At the time, I'm struggling. Ain't got nothing. She comes up to me talking about, I need my $20, I need my $50. Something it was. It was like maybe a couple of weekends. I think she might have been old $50. I ain't even have it, bro. She comes up to me, I know you got it. I know you do. All them folks coming in here. I'm like, what folks? You been here? I say, just to keep the lights on, the light, gas, water, rent. She wasn't trying to hear none of that. I'm in business, therefore I have deep pockets. I can just print money out of thin air and just give it to her because I'm in business. This is why when you think, that's how a child thinks. My son thinks he could just ask me for whatever he wants and I can just give it to him, right? That's how children think.
And I was trying not to go there with it, but it's really no other analogy I think kind of applies. Child parent relationship is probably the closest because the kid just thinks that you're an endless pool of money that it's going to always, I mean, whatever wants, whatever fancies them. Hey, mom and dad got it. No, mom and dad, even if they got it, it might not. They might need to take care of something else that you're not aware of. And so, yeah, the employee mindset. Because I mean, I've been an employee my entire life, but I have dabbled in business. I understand there is an expense side of the ledger, and when people just see the money coming in and they're not there for the money that's going out, that tends to be what their attitude
When
is
she
going to be.
came up, I never forget one statement she said. This is why I don't like black businesses. This is what she said. I never forget. Bro, let me tell you something, bro. I done been on the receiving end. I have. This is why I don't like going and working with black people. You can't trust black people. That's how she talking. Because she came up to me unannounced, caught me walking out the restaurant on like a Wednesday, broke. Barely got gas in my car. Talking about I was supposed to give her $50. Right? So first of all, I'm gonna have to get the checkbook and see, which I had the checkbook, but I didn't even know if the account had it in there. I had to go to the account and check because we was trying to budget every dollar. We ain't have it, bro. I'd have just paid out my pocket if I could. Say, oh, here you go, just go. Wouldn't have cared about it. Like I would today. If she came up today, here you go, let me go home, let me cash out you $50. Couldn't do it. What's up, old dog? What you got, man?
What's up? And what up, MC?
Right
I
now.
think
What's up, old dog?
not much. I think that, well, first of all, let me ask you this. Have you ever met a hardworking Marxist in your life?
I guess so. Because I think a lot of times when you come to the Marxist ideology, it's a lot of people that work 9 to 5s and bust their ass at their job, but they still a Marxist. So I would say yes.
Because most of the ones that I know that champion this cause, they're mostly teachers and
Yeah.
a lot of people with fake jobs that really have no significance. And the reason I say it's a fake job because if you look, if you actually sit in a classroom, because like when I graduated from college, I did a little work with a local school district. When you actually sit in the classroom, you'll see how inept some of these teachers are. Some of these teachers know nothing, absolutely nothing. They give no kind of direction to the students. Some of them are there to just be buddy buddy with the
Yeah, going to
kids.
college as a teacher, all you're doing is writing book reports, and that's it. And you over and you out there teaching. It's not like a hard skill to get.
And then a lot of people get into education just because they don't know what else to do. You know, they majored in a lot of people that majored in biology and didn't have the grades to get into a professional program. They just go into teaching and they hate it. They're miserable the whole time. And so
Yeah, that's a major that a lot of people got to go to. All you got to do is go to school a year to get your certificate. It's not that hard.
yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like what do you expect? And again, the reason I say it's a fake job is because a lot of times there's no kind of repercussions for doing your job poorly. They just chalk it up to, I don't know, sometimes they'll just pass the student. You look at the academic proficiency of a lot of students, and it's just low. People can't read. Like, a lot of adults can't read. People can't do math. I was looking at. I'm trying to master Linux administration, and I was working on something, and the video it kind of gave a syntax. It had a problem. It said do this and do that.
Hey,
Or it gave
keep
me a
talking.
scenario.
Keep talking. I'm gonna hear you, but I gotta go do something right quick. Go ahead and keep talking.
Okay, so it gave me a scenario, and then it gave me the syntax of the command to input. And so I was looking at it. I'm like, man, this is kind of just like algebra. You just have to know. You have to know the formula, and you have to know what situation to apply it to. So that's kind of, and that's kind of just like analytical thinking. And it's like when I look back at grade school, high school, a lot of kids, they would be okay with math when it comes to the numbers, but then when you get to the word problems, they would start sweating and struggling, and some kids would start crying because they didn't have the analytical skills to actually apply the tools that were given to them. So education, or any kind of these government jobs, when the government fails to produce the service or the product that is promised by the institution, instead of closing down the business, they just give the business more money. So that's what I'm saying. That's a fake job. That's not a real job. When you're out here in the real world and you're doing a job and you don't do the job, if you do not deliver, guess what? They're going to get rid of you because it's all about the bottom line. So when Marxism says that it doesn't matter, the market need of what you're doing. Everybody should get paid the same. It doesn't matter how long you had to go to school. It doesn't matter how much you dedicated nights to studying. It doesn't matter if your output is more than somebody next to you. Everybody's gonna get the same thing. And that's evil. That's I mean, there's nothing righteous about that system. So when I see all these Marxists, especially young Marxists, I just look at them. I'm like, you really just don't want to work hard. Because like I said earlier, they support legislation that makes it harder on themselves. They voted for a man that opened up the borders and flooded the country with cheap labor. So now they undercut the value of their labor. So how do you overcome it? You have to work harder. That's how. Now you have to work harder, and your work has to be quality. Otherwise, you're just gonna get cut because you made yourself more expendable. So the way I see all this, it's gonna be Christians that save this country. If it's going to be saved, it's gonna be Christians that save this country because again, the only thing, not the only thing, but the way to glorify God in your work is to be excellent. It's kind of like when the Bible says work as you working on to the Lord. So if you're working for God, you want to put forth your absolute best. Hence, that's why Chick-fil-A is so successful. They built a culture, they built a godly culture. You go
Yep.
in there, hi, good morning, how you doing? My pleasure. Or they say happy to help or something like that.
Closed on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, and I asked one of those people, I'm like, are y'all this nice like outside of work? And they just laughed at the question. But Chick-fil-A, they don't have the best food, but they have the best service. And if you go to Chick-fil-A, I mean, you don't ever see anybody slacking, you don't see anybody rude. When they mess up your order, they show some kind of contrition about it.
Yeah.
That they don't have that at other businesses. But there's a million fast food places and people like Chick-fil-A. You get what I'm saying? So because of because of people's irresponsibility, because of people's foolishness, because people have devalued their own worth to their country, now they're gonna have to work harder. And anybody that is a Marxist, they're just not gonna do that. I don't believe they will. They're just gonna bitch and complain and ask government to pay them fairly, and they don't understand just the basic principle of supply and demand. But they also don't understand the principle of excellence. They don't understand that like these people will be the first people to die if communism ever was fully implemented, because it's not a utopia. You have to work. You don't have a choice in communism. You have to work because you have to produce.
But this is the
Because
thing. This is the thing, though, with that system. I think, and they talked about this with the Soviet Union and why the Soviet Union fell for a myriad of reasons. But one of the reasons that, and I've seen this when it comes to communism, a lot of people gonna go to work. Like, it's a difference in how, and this is just in dating, right? A woman that really wants to be with a man, if they having sex or they making love, she's gonna put her heart into it, right? But if you paying that chick, it's gonna be a different style. It's gonna be a different motivation because you paid her to be with you, to spend time with you. It's not the same level. The one that she want to marry and spend the rest of her life with and pop babies out for, she gonna go extra hard for him. When it comes to capitalism versus communism is a system where the boyfriend paying you to spend time. So she gonna give you service, but she gonna half-ass it. She's not gonna give you. People are not gonna go all out like they would, like how I did for my business, right? For my business, bro, I was getting up every morning, going out. 5,000 flyers getting passed out in 2 weeks by one guy. That's a lot of flyers. I don't know if y'all passed out flyers before, but I'm hitting cars. I'm standing out in front of the state capitol building, giving out stuff to people. Hey, how you doing? We got the comedy club. Individual, hand to hand, 5,000 times in 2 weeks, every day. And I'm going to the radio station, busting my behind working. And I'm riding out 50, 60 miles to different cities surrounding Montgomery, giving out flyers, letting people know about us. I worked hard, bro. You think I'm going to do that if I'm getting just a flat rate paycheck? I'm going to stay my butt at home. I'm not, man, I ain't finna get out there and do all that. I'm not doing all that. I have no reason to.
It just depends. If it's a job that you agree to work, if you have any kind of integrity, you're gonna give it your all. But if it's something that you're forced to do, you're gonna be demoralized while you're doing it. So your heart's just not gonna be in it.
And you're not gonna apply yourself and be creative and find new innovative. I thought of ways. I said, man, let's ride to Selma. I wouldn't have done that. If somebody say, hey man, we're gonna give you 5,000 flyers in a communist system. I'm gonna give you 5,000 flyers. I want you to get rid of them. I'm gonna just go find any car, give them to anybody that I know is not interested Like a lot of white people were not interested, unfortunately, in coming to the company. I had a few people, but most of them didn't come, right? Because the comedians was, oh, what's up, white people? You know how that go, right?
Yeah.
And so, which I hated they did that because it kind of ran people off. But still, it was a black town. So guess what? I gave it thought. I said I'm gonna give it to black. But if you just want to just give out 5,000 flyers, I could have just went and gave it to anybody, and would have got rid of them. I would have did the job. I would have met my quota. But was it gonna point back to success for the business? No. But if you're thinking because it's my business, because if it had succeeded, I would have made money. Guess what? I was gassing up and riding on out to the outskirts, 30, 40 miles out to little surrounding suburbs and towns of Atlanta, of Montgomery, trying to promote. I was going up to the radio station every day for the Drive at 5. Not the Drive at 5, Drive at 5. I'll go up there and talk. It was like a little segment they would do. I paid for that. I ain't have to do that. I could have just half-assed it. I could have just tried to pass out the flyers and stuck with that. But I didn't. Because it was mine. It's my baby. I'm going to give it all I got. Just like a mobile car wash or any other business I did. I've done a lot of businesses. And so the point I'm trying to make is, if you look at Marxism at its purest form and definition, right? When you look at what Marxism is, right? It is basically sowing. What's up, country boy? It is sowing where you haven't reaped. And thinking that you're entitled to it. But you wicked, lazy servant. You could have at least put it in the bank where it could have drew interest. Right? You're lazy. You want to get something for stuff you didn't even do. I'm not talking about the parable of the talents. All he did was bury it. But what I'm saying is, you don't want to take what you have and invest it, because out of fear. See, he was fearful. Man, I ain't want nothing to happen, so I just buried it. Scared. Fear. Afraid to trust God. Right? That's why Peter's the one that walked on water. Peter was the one that say, look, if it's you, I know for a fact, if you tell me to do it, if it's your will for me to do it, I can do it. But he told him, hey man, come on out here. He steps out and walks on water, bro. God don't move in fear, man. We talked about this the other day, man. What did you say? He said believers, Christians should be bold. They shouldn't be afraid. When you was up here last time, old dog, and the dude was talking, and you said, man, people are godless. And he agreed. But then he just talked over it. But the government this and the... Wait a minute. What are you saying when you say godless? When we say godless, we talked about the fruit of the Spirit, Galatians 5:22. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentle, goodness, faithfulness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Well, if you got self-control, what that mean? You're gonna budget your money. You're gonna not have sex outside of marriage. You're gonna wait till you get married. If you're gentle, guess what? You ain't got to worry about getting killed by the police, because you ain't gonna be screaming and cussing at the police officers.
Yep, a soft answer turn away wrath.
Exactly. You're gonna have that word written in your heart and in your mind, and you're gonna be obedient to it. And guess what? That's the person that's gonna be successful in life.
If you're faithful, you're gonna wake up every morning and get to work like you agreed that you would. Right? And if you have love, you're gonna do your work with love, just like they do it at Chick-fil-A. Even if you don't feel like it, you're gonna see. This is the thing, man. When I was in college, I hated my job, but I was good at it. Why? Because I was a hard worker. I come to work and I was depressed because the basketball wasn't going like I wanted to. So and you already know, that when it doesn't go your way, like it's just
demoralizing.
It's demoralizing. It's very demoralizing. And so, but at the same time, when I had an opportunity to pour myself into somebody else in whatever capacity, I did it, because I always wanted people to walk away knowing that this guy gave me his best. And when they promoted me to manager, I used to tell the other subordinates, they were all high school students or college students like myself. I would tell them, I'm like, look, y'all, I don't love this job, but your work is a reflection of your character and your integrity. So when you come here, do your job and do it good because you just never know who's watching. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you're supposed to go out there. When you agree to work somewhere, and this is, when people talk about exploitation, I'm like, that's BS. Like, you agreed to work somewhere for the pay that you agreed to. That's not exploitation. That's two parties fulfilling a contract. You know what I'm saying? So when you put on that uniform, you're representing the company, you're representing yourself, you're representing your parents, and you're representing the God that you serve. And you don't want to put to shame any of those entities.
But see, now they'll call you a slave. That's all slaves do. You just see that's the problem with Christianity. They tell you just be a good nigga for man. That's
Okay,
it.
fine. Go out there and start your own business and be your own master. Since these niggas got all the answers. These niggas live in a world that does not exist.
My question is this: how Marxists have so much faith, since they don't have any faith in God providing for them? How do they have so much faith in a system that I know most of them have never seen be successful anywhere?
Good question. Good question. I'm gonna answer that if I may. The
Please
reason
do.
they have faith in that system, Marxism, one of the premises of Marxism has three premises. One of them is materialism. The government is tangible. God, they can't see him, they can't feel him, they can't touch him. So it's the natural versus the supernatural. You're talking about the supernatural. That is minimized to Marxists. That's why when old dog said that earlier to the brother, he just kept, yeah, but and just kept talking like it didn't matter. Because
Well, you know what
we know when you put God in the center of stuff, it changes things. Go ahead.
Well, you know what I suggest to them brothers like that. I'll provide them with a all access voucher to public housing, because that's about what Marxism will get you. All the free housing, free public assistance that you want, but that's the cap.
That's it.
I mean, that'll be your lifestyle. So learn to love it, because that's Marxism in a nutshell to me personally.
Oh yeah. What's up, Sophia? What you got? How you been? Long time no see.
I know, right? Long time no see. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you guys
Good
doing?
evening. Good evening.
Um, of course, I'm in New York, so I'm upset
Yeah.
about that Mom Dami cat like coming
Yeah.
in there and everything. Like, I hear what everybody is saying and talking, and I had a few talking points that I want to talk about.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So when you were talking, Sub, you were talking about like creating a business and how people was laughing at you and they just didn't appreciate your work. That's the problem that I have with some Black people. You get to a certain level and they want you to bring them up too, but they're not supporting you,
Yeah.
especially when you're in a time of need. That that sucks.
Yeah.
And going back to when you were talking about this generation just have a lack of work ethic, I think it all comes from like soft parenting, them going into the colleges and brainwashing them. You guys were just talking about the teachers, right? It really, I mean, yes, there is a certain standard that you need to become a teacher. But when I look at the type of teachers that are going into these spaces, is those people, those alphabet people.
Yeah.
And they going in with their Marxist ideology, teaching the kids these things. And when you try to train them the ways that is right, they don't want to hear about it. They're like, you two this, you two that, you don't know, this is a different generation. They don't want to hear nothing about it. So they develop this entitlement attitude. They want things easy, but that's not how life works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not how life works.
I do
And
think that. Go ahead.
God,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that when it comes to our education system, this is where believers have dropped the ball, and it's hard, man. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Like,
I agree.
for me, right? Like, I can't go into a situation making no $60,000. I can't do it. I can't
Not in
go
this
from what I'm
economy.
doing now and go be a teacher making $6,000. Oh, and then you gonna pay me on the first of the month, and that's it. Oh no, I can't do that. I actually worked for the state of Alabama Department of Education, got paid once a month. It was a nightmare. I could never save no money. Couldn't. I'll get a big check beginning of the month. By week 2, I'm back tight.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I need my money every Friday. I can't budget like that, right? Or at least every 2 weeks. I can't go no doggone. I can do 2 weeks. I can't do a month and get a big check and then squeeze it and try to squeeze that check out for a month. It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
The whole thing boils down to just understanding that we let the evil people, like when I read that article earlier today about the Frankfurt School, these people went into the universities, they went into the system. They have baked in. You need guys like O-Dog, MT, me, you. We need to go into the education system. I'm not finna do it. But you need people that are willing to go into the education system and they're willing to make 60, 55 as a teacher until they can build up to 90, right? And that's
I
still
was when I first came out of college, but they were on that alphabet stuff, and they just they didn't want to hire me, so that's that.
So they didn't let you get tenure.
Nah, they didn't even they brought me on as a part-time worker, and I was at the high schools teaching helping the physics and the calculus teacher, and he didn't know what he was doing, so I went to the director and I was like, hey, my skill set is much higher than all the other people on my level. Is there any way I can get a raise? She said no. And then they were just like, can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Though there was a situation where a student was struggling and I wanted to reach out to the parent, and they said, nah, you're doing too much. You can't do all that. And I'm just like, well, what we're doing is not helping the kid. And they basically told me I need to stay in my place. So I was just like, man, this shit ain't for me. And then I even tried to contract with, I told y'all about that time I tried to contract with Deion Sanders School.
Yeah.
And because they had low test scores, and they looked at my project plan, they were like, oh yeah, this is great. And I kept following up with them, and then they were just like, nah, we're not gonna do it. And then at the end of the school year, I think it was a month before the school year ended, the school closed down because of low test scores. So I mean, these people ain't serious.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. So when I was talking about going into the classroom, I'm talking about, and this is going to sound messed up, I'm talking about for indoctrination. The reason, listen, college, when you go to college, and we've all been to college, we've all taken her history, right? That's where you're not going to get history. That's where you're going to get indoctrination classes about whoever the professor is their worldview, right? And they're going to tell you not to go to church. It never fails. Every community college, every college I went to, the history teachers were religiously pushing a godless society. This is what they have been effective. They have been allowed to run rampant in our education system for almost 100 years. Ever since the Frankfurt School came over, they've taken over the college and university system. And what I'm saying now is, in order for that pendulum to be swung back the other way, you have people coming into the internet, and I think that's a good place for it to happen. It's over the internet where people can kind of refute some of these ideologies. You're starting to see people, and when young people see conservatism and capitalism versus Marxism, and they get a real fair argument, not just, this just, because some Christians are completely clueless in how to do battle with this type of stuff. They just are. They're not equipped, because a lot of pastors don't, and a lot of Christians are lazy. They don't read their Bibles, and particularly black people. Black people don't know what communism is. They don't know who Vodi Bachman is, right? Somebody even tell them, who is Vodi Bachman? They don't know. They don't know who that is. So they if I give them a Vody Bachman sermon, they'll fall asleep because he's too boring. He's not, God, come on, save me. He ain't doing all that. He's just gonna give you, a cultural Marxism breakdown and how it affects our society. Right? And he's not singing. He's not, coming up. They ain't doing all the dancing and taking a secular rap song. He's not doing that. And that board, like, and so what we need is, listen, I know it may seem like, well, they should be ashamed. Yes, but I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. If we are gonna save America, because I forget who said that a second ago. If we are gonna save America, the Christians and the believers are gonna have to find a way to get into those environments and shine that light. Yes, you're gonna be hated. They're gonna ridicule you. They're gonna lie on you. That's what they're gonna do. Jesus said they hated me. They're gonna hate you. They're gonna hate you, right? So obviously they're going to attack you. They're gonna lie on you. They'll call you a coon. You hate your own people. You Candace Owens. This nigga's he's a Republican. That's the phrase that one guy gave me. Chris Miles used to always call me a Republican, right? And we would just go at it, and I'd just be like, no, bro, your principles are flawed. And this dude named Chris Miles, he got a YouTube channel now. He would sit up and just in the barbershop and try to preach all this Marxism stuff. And I wasn't even aware. I knew Marxism was evil and I would argue with him, but I wasn't like I am now. Because it would be child's play now. But back then, I still would get him, but I could really get him now. Because I know where he coming from, who said it, why they said it. I know all that now. Back then, I would just go at the arguments, the tenets of communism and Marxism and why it's evil, right? And I remember one day he said, all rich people got their wealth from stepping on somebody's back and just hurting, rich people get over on harming people because he's a Marxist, right? And so I didn't call him a Marxist. I said, man, you a communist, right? And he was like, man, what you talking about? I said, bro, because what you just said don't make no sense. What you talking about? I said, bro, so God ain't got nothing to do with it, right? Because he's a Muslim. God ain't got nothing to do with it. He stops. And when he stopped talking, everybody laughed because I guess I caught him up with that, tripped him up. He didn't expect me to come from that angle. He thought he was just going to come up there and say, I said, I'm sorry. I've seen plenty of people get their money and they put God first and they trust God and they succeed. Don't mean they stepped on somebody just to get their money. What you talking about? Lottery winners stepped on somebody's back to get money? All they did was buy a ticket. Lucky, but I'm just saying, right? Everybody that got money ain't just out here lying and cheating and stealing and getting over on people. And I think the demonization of capitalism, the demonization, so you see a lot of videos right now of people on YouTube and on TikTok. Oh, capitalism has fallen. Like capitalism hadn't failed. You see stuff being done to destroy capitalism, but it's purposeful. It's not that capitalism was left alone and it just failed. No, communism will fail if you just leave it alone. It'll just fail because people are selfish. People ain't just content with just, you got people that's going to get in government and manipulate and use the working class. It's just bound to happen because government is people and people are selfish. So in order for communism to work, you have to have a person that's completely working in the government that has no desires to have anything for themselves. They want to just be even. They can make $70,000 a year and be straight and control trillions of dollars and not steal none of it. Well, that's what you see with our federal government. Our federal government, Jasmine Crockett is being investigated right now, stealing. She made some stock investments. She didn't report to the whatever little commission she's supposed to report to as a congresswoman, right? All this money, these people, Nancy Pelosi worth $300 million. I know a dude named Alvin Holmes, right? Rest in peace to the brother. Alvin Holmes was worth millions of dollars by the time I was a kid, right? Alvin Holmes went to school with my mom and dad. They called him a crook. I never forget. They said Alvin Holmes a crook. I said, why? I said, man, this dude went to school with us, got on the state senate or whatever he did as a Democrat. He was broke. This dude didn't have no money. Say he's from the projects, from the bottom, they called it. This dude bought up all of the West Side, bought up all this property with like insider information of stuff that was going, like construction. If it was a new spot that was coming, he would take that insider information and go and buy the property before anybody knew. Price go up, he'll sell it for at a price. So did Joe Reed, the father of the current mayor of Montgomery, Stephen Reed. His dad is a crook. His dad got when you look at Alabama State, they have something called the Acadome. That's their basketball stadium where they play basketball, right? At the Acadome, his dad, it was called the Joe L. Reed Acadome when it first got built. His dad bought up all of the area right by Alabama State with insider information, sold it to the university for millions above what he paid for it. Shotgun houses, old hood area. Bought up all those streets over there for next to nothing. I'm talking about $3,000 and $4,000 a house. Sells it and walks away with about $3 million. Jacked up all that. He just spread it out over all the houses. This black folks do this all the time. This is what black politicians do. They get paid. They get wealthy. That's what they do.
Hey, so I think the problem is when it comes to, I think people think that business people are just inherently evil. You ever notice, even with the enormous contracts that athletes get, or entertainers or movie stars, other than their performance, people usually don't complain. I mean, if an athlete's making $30 million a year, they don't usually have an issue with them making that much outside of whether or not they caught a pass or dropped it. They just tied to their performance. But they don't feel any issue with their actual salary in and of itself. But when it comes to a businessman, any move he makes, it had to be an underhanded deal. It had to be some nefarious activity taking place. It just cannot be just fair and square business in people's minds. And so just business dealings, I think people have just equated that with just being a crook. But athletes, they're earning their money. Entertainers, they're earning their money. I think people even feel like dope boys earn their money more, more honestly than a business person does.
I think that's the school system. It kind of beats out it beats out your entrepreneurial spirit. It beats out all the innovation that you have inside of you. It beats out it stomps out your imagination. To have something, a business idea in your head, and for it to materialize before your eyes. And they make you think that that's not a thing, and that's part of the reason. That's part of the atheistic nature of the school system, because that's a godlike quality. God can think of something, speak it, and boom, it comes to pass. Hey, it looks like we have a contestant on the Summer Jam screen. Lady D Flo, whatever her name is.
Yeah. I would
But
love to have you come up and express your viewpoints. If you feel like we don't know what we're talking
Wow.
about. I just, rich people create jobs. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
They
poor
do.
people don't create jobs,
No.
Yeah.
and
Poor
and the
people reap the benefits of rich people creating jobs.
Yeah.
yeah, and the government is so inefficient with the services that they provide, because there's no incentive to actually do the job correctly, because if you don't do it, they're not going to do anything to you. It's hard to fire people from the VA.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah. I know my
So
dad died dealing with the VA. It's hard to fire a teacher.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like these are fake jobs. These are not real jobs. Is the private sector is how this country became a superpower.
Yeah.
Free markets.
Yep.
People having the ability to, if I can't go here, then I'll go there. If I don't like your price, then I'll go find a better price
Yep.
Or if
And
I don't like,
if I'm a good worker and you don't want to pay me my rate, this other company will.
then I can sell my labor to somebody else.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of the free market. But when you put all these regulations on it, then you have to hire people to enforce these regulations. It's just more. It's just more fake jobs. It's what's it called? The bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs for black men. I'm going to go to my eight.
This gotta be a troll account, y'all.
Yeah. I don't
I
really.
was just gonna say, like, that sound like a troll.
Yeah. I'm not
Yeah,
getting mad about it though, because at the end of the day, when it's
No.
all said and done, I actually agree with that last statement. I think men, above anything, we're builders, we're conquerors. We go, like, if we go back historically and we look at, I know we don't want to talk about the Indians and Native Americans, but if you look at what happened with Western civilization and the expansion of Western civilization, that is one of the most masculine points. When you watch the frontiersmen that built America, right? It took people dying and laying down their lives, going through all types of risks, coming from Europe, coming from the eastern part of America, expanding all the way to the west, dealing with the elements, dealing with the Indians, dealing with the animals, dealing with the risk that you may lose your life. Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett and the Alamo and all. It took a certain types of frontiersmen. You had to have a certain level of testosterone. You had to have a certain level of stick-to-itness and intestinal fortitude to be able to go and do these things. And so I agree 1,000% that we've lost that as men. Number one, our society has taken it and ripped it out of our men, right? And we need to put it back. We need to talk about it. We need to express it. So I was talking yesterday, I was kind of being funny about the 80s cartoons. But I look at them now and I'm like, God dang, bro, these people would have a problem with these cartoons today. They're very masculine. Like, I can't find nothing equivalent to G.I. Joe today, the modern day G.I. Joe. I don't know. Go watch G.I. Joe. Listen to the way the guy sung the theme song. Look at the stuff. You got guys punching, Sergeant Slaughter punching dudes and people jumping out of airplanes. It just made you want to be a hero, a real American hero. You ain't got nothing like that today.
they don't make cartoons or movies to inspire young boys anymore. I thought about it. Me and my homeboy were talking about that the other day. When I watched The Sandlot, that movie makes me miss being a boy. When I watch movies like Hardball and how they were just having fun on the baseball diamond, or shit, I don't know, like Little Giants. Even though they had a little girl playing a boy sport, or I was watching Mulan, the cartoon with my niece and nephew the other day, and the song was "Be a Man," and one of the lyrics was tranquil as a forest with the fire within. Once you find your center, then you're sure to win. I was like, damn. I was like, those, I like that's kind of deep, but I mean, but it speaks to what a man is. A man has a fire inside of him, but he's calm and peaceful. Whereas in rap music, we see the opposite of that. No fire inside of you, but you're brawling and destructive and chaotic. You know, that's not what a man is. A man is somebody that comports himself with dignity and honor. That people that he walks in the room and people are relieved that he's there because they know it's going to be okay. We
That's it.
don't we don't have anything in media and art that actually speaks to what's inside of a young boy to actually want to conquer something. And to what you just said, so every man every man should want to conquer something. Not it's like these men today, it's like all these niggas want to do is conquer women and vagina.
Yeah.
Like, nah, you want to conquer an industry.
Yep.
You want to go out and conquer an industry. You want to make your name great. You don't just want to wake up and be a bottom eater. That's not what kind of life is that?
That's
That
no
I
life,
don't.
no life at all. And
That's what.
I would. I'm sorry, old dog. I
Nah, you
would
good?
I would encourage young men to start with the Bible. To be honest with you, like start with the New Testament. Not everything you can find in media, but just the not New Testament. I'm sorry. Start with the Old Testament. There was a lot of conquest acquisitions, a lot of kings and pharaohs fighting against each other, like, and there's a lot of, I would say, moral character that is on display for young men to model after. I know it's like ancient history, but it's still the same. It still should like light a fire inside of you. Like modern day, I can do something for my community. I can do something, for other young men or my community at large.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. The Bible, you said the Bible is ancient history, but it speaks to human nature. It speaks to the
Yes, it
nature
do.
of existence.
Mm-hmm.
The more, and so, I apologize for just sending you random Bible verses and just my
Bro, please.
random
Bro, please.
my nah, cause it's like sometimes I'll just be chilling and then like it's like something comes to my mind and I'm just like, oh, I just get clarity on the verse or the I get clarity on what's really going on and it's
That's
I'm
the
saying you
spirit
like
talking.
the Bible I have my moments sometimes where I'm just like, man, I wish I could see God physically, but when you know the word of God, you see it play out in real time in life, on a micro level and a macro level. You see when I see the world, I see everything that's going on in the world now, and I'm not confused. I'm frustrated because there's Christians that are supposed to be speaking on it, and all the prominent voices are idiots, or they're either not well read,
Or
or
coward.
they're
Yeah.
cowards, or they're zealots for the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like this. It's like look at the Republican Party or the conservative movement is split over Israel. You got one group of people saying that they're the chosen people, and then you got another group of people saying that that they're not, and then you got Muslims, and I'm just like, if we all read the Bible, if we all really read the Bible, sat down and studied it, we
Mm-hmm.
would see that they're not, the Jews are not the chosen people. The
Not
chosen
these modern
people,
days.
well, even back then, the chosen were always the faithful. That's why there was always a remnant. Salvation was always to a remnant that was faithful. It's kind of like when God told Elijah, I've reserved 7,000 of Israel that has not bowed down to Baal and kissed him. So the remnant that was saved, the salvation was always for the faithful remnant. So those that actually adhered to the commandments, those that obeyed Moses in the wilderness went into the
Mhm.
promised land, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Those that obeyed Moses listened and took heed to what Jesus was teaching them. And guess what?
Mm-hmm.
They escaped the judgment of the destruction of Jerusalem, which happened in 70 AD. They escaped that destruction.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
when you
So
talk about you talked about men going to the Bible, to the Old Testament. One of my favorite verses, when you got Proverbs 31 for women, Job chapter
Mm-hmm.
29 is the one for men, in my personal opinion. Because if you look at it, he says, how long for the months going by, for the days when God watched over me, when his lamp shone upon my head, and by his light I walked through darkness. Oh, for the days when I was in my prime, when God's intimate friendship blessed my house, when the Almighty was still with me and my children were around me. He cared about his children, right? He says, when my path was drenched with cream and the rock poured out for me streams of olive oil. Now watch what he say. This is how he's respected. He says, when I went to the gate of the city and took my seat in the public square, the young men saw me and stepped aside. The old men rose to their feet. The chief refrained from speaking and covered their mouths with their hands. The voices of the nobles were hushed, and their tongues stuck to the roofs of their mouths. Whoever heard me spoke well of me, and those who saw me commended me, because I rescued the poor who cried for help. Look, one of my favorites. And the fatherless who had none to assist them. The one who was dying blessed me. I made the widow's heart sing. I put on righteousness as my clothing. Justice was my robe and my turban. I was eyes to the blind and feet to the lame. I was the father to the needy, and I took up the case of the stranger. I broke the fangs of the wicked and snatched the victim from their teeth. I thought, I will die in my house, my days as numerous as the grains of sand. My root will reach to the water, and the dew will lie on my branches. The glory will not fade. I'm gonna start right there. But what the point I'm saying is, this is a hero. I'm describing a hero. I'm describing a man. See, when I talk about responsibility versus blame, I take responsibility for the community. I don't take the blame. I didn't go out there and create the baby mamas. I didn't go out there and shoot up the neighborhood. I didn't go out there and do those things. But yeah, I take responsibility in my own way, obviously. But I do take responsibility, and I think it's okay to do that. And I think like you talked about, old dog, when you was describing, it's funny how this fits like a glove. You were describing that if a man comes into a situation, that man will change that situation, and he would basically shine hope into a situation where, like when you come around a woman, if her car broke or if something going on, she's stressing. When you get that, she relax. She can breathe because she like, he here now. We good. Why? Because I know he gonna take care of it. Ain't nothing like your woman bragging. Oh, he gonna take care of it. Trust me, I ain't worried about it. I know he gonna come through. One of my favorite things was the lady from Judge Hatchet. I think that's her name. She was bragging about her husband on the Breakfast Club. Say, man, you cannot shake my man. He is strong. I trust him to hold me over a cliff upside down. I know I can trust him. I know he got me. Look at this man. This man said the voices of the nobles were hushed. He was respected. Right? They call this, when you hear church people say he was known at the gates. That's what he's talking about. Respect. Why? Because that's big for us as men. We love respect. But how did Job get his respect?
He was upright. He was upright.
Righteous. Exactly.
What does it say? It says that righteousness exalts a nation, and sin is a disgrace to any people. It says that in Proverbs. You know, when you talk about Proverbs 31 for women, I'm like, man, nah. I mean, yeah, that's cool too. But, you know, women and young men, they need to read the book of Esther. That shows a strong woman that moved with conviction, that was faithful. You know, and it shows you how to deal with a feminist. You know, because
faster.
I like, because when the king called for her, she didn't come. It said, for this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, the king commanded the queen to be brought before him, and she did not come. So what did they do? They got rid of her. They got rid of a disrespectful feminist queen. Like, they put down the first women's liberation movement. It shows you how to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? The problem is the church is not teaching the Bible. They're not teaching you how it applies to everyday life. And you know, there is something to be said about the material gain. You know, I dropped all those Bible verses in the chat while you were talking. And the Bible speaks to the here and now. It doesn't really speak to, you know, what comes after this life. You know, the only thing it says that you know, God is gonna judge everything, you know, when you pass from this world, you know, God is gonna judge what you've done. But You know, the Bible tells you how to be successful here. It tells you how you become poor. It tells you how you become, you know, how you come into bondage. It tells you it anything you want to do, it shows you how to do it. But you know, Sub, I agree with you. There has to be people that are willing to serve in these capacities and really show the youth that you know that it's possible to be strong and you know to be righteous and to be cool at the same time and to be prosperous in whatever endeavors that they partake in. It's going to take people to do. It's going to take successful people to do that. You know, I had a when I applied to medical school a couple years ago. You know, I put on my application that I wanted to teach biochemistry in college. You know, as an adjunct. You know, somewhere down the line, but you know, even that vision has expanded because it's like, you know, I had an idea. I'm like, okay, when I become a doctor, I have a clinic and all that stuff. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the high schools and you know I'm gonna teach classes there, preparing them for the profession, you know, so they can have that knowledge early, so they can have that vision early, you know, because that's the thing. That's another thing that every man needs. A man needs a vision, and usually the father gives his son a vision to follow, but that's not happening in our day because the fathers are gone, and you know a lot of men don't know their duties to their children. You know, in the Bible, one of the first things it said about the man, it said, you know, God created all these things, and there was no man to water the ground. So what did he do? That he created a man. He took a man from the dust of the earth, and you know he breathed the breath of life into his nostrils. He became a living soul. You know what I'm saying? So you know, and that's an allegory in itself. You know, when we talk about like watering the ground, when you water the ground, what happens? It becomes fruitful, right? It produces something. You know what I'm saying? So that's so the purpose of a man is important, and it's just something that's not being taught on the level that it should be taught.
Look, I'm a big advocate for that. And if you listen, I was playing this earlier, and I want you to hear. So this is a woman that moved to Africa. She was complaining about all the stuff in Africa, how they romanticize Africa and how bad it really is, right? But she's talking about a son, 26 years old, graduated. I want you to hear what he's doing.
An organization. Those children have pimps.
Hold on.
Tony C, hop in, Tony. Yeah, you and the family, and y'all need to come on back to the crib, man. Y'all need to.
I know we do. So yeah, this isn't it. This isn't it, Black Americans. Just like I talked to my daughter when I was there in the U.S. and I was like, well, have you thought about leaving?
Really?
This is not the motherland over here. People even think that all the food in Africa is organic. No, it's not. It's imported. And the things that are grown here, you better be careful about eating them because they irrigate them with sewage water.
Oh, shit.
Okay?
Boy.
They use pesticides and herbicides here. They vaccinate their animals too. So do not believe all that wahala. It's not true.
Wow. KW.
Yes, sir. You hear me, Tariq?
I hear you.
In Ghana is the equivalent of about $30.
Okay, here you go. Watch this.
You can't work in here. And he said he refused.
Watch this.
I hear you. What's up, brother?
Oh, okay, man. I want to ask Sophia some questions. What does your son do for a living out there? What does he do for work wise?
Now, take in mind, this is a couple. They've moved to Africa. She set some money aside for her son. When he gets old enough to go to college, he didn't need the money because he had a full ride scholarship. He goes to University of Arizona State University, graduates with a chemical engineering, some whatever type of degree he gets, right, in chemistry. And from there, they come over to Africa after he graduates. And this is what he's doing. Watch this.
Well, the thing about that is you can't work in here. And he said he refuses to work for CDs. And I don't blame him. The average pay here in Ghana is the equivalent of about $30 US. And my son said that he isn't even going to flip his pinky finger for that. And I don't blame him. But
you know, I know you say he's like 26. How long has he been living out there? Or, you know, how long have you guys been there?
he has been here for 3 years. He's been in Ghana for 3 years.
How's he sustaining himself financially?
Oh, he has money.
Okay.
He has money. We all have money. We have money.
Okay.
So, so yeah, he went to, he graduated from ASU. He is a, oh my goodness, he is a, something to do with chemistry.
Okay.
I have to ask him. It's this long word, but yeah. So he has money. So what I did, and what I did for all of my children, once I had a child, I automatically started putting money back for them to go to college. Okay. When they turned 16, I took them to go and get their driver's license, and I purchased them a vehicle. And when they turned 18, I automatically registered them to vote. So what I did was, when my children decided to go to college, they didn't have to go nowhere to get no Pell Grant, the beg, and none of that stuff. Money and daddy had them taken care of for college, right? Yeah. So with my son that's here now, I had his college money already ready. When he told me what college he wanted to go to, I was like, okay, I got you, right? So when I told him, I said, honey, sign on. Let me see how much money I need to take up here to ASU, because he's getting ready to go. So when he signed in, I just see a whole lot of numbers. I'm like, hold on, what is this? What's going on? So I called into ASU. I was like, hey, I needed to know how much I need to bring to pay for my son's tuition. I said, but his account is not looking right. I said, looks like money's already been paid. My son went to ASU on a full academic scholarship, and I didn't even know it until I got ready to go pay. So they told him, they said, ma'am, you don't have to pay anything. They said, he's got so much money that he's going to get money every semester. And I was like, what? So yeah, my son is smart, but I didn't know that he had this scholarship. He didn't even know he had the scholarship. But yeah, he had a full ride academic scholarship to ASU. So what I did, I told him, I said, now, sir, if you play your cards right, and if you listen to me and do what I tell you to do, you can come up out of ASU with $100,000 in your pocket. And that's what he did. And so what I did was, the money that I saved up for him to go to ASU those 4 years, I gave it to him. So that's how he's able to do what he wants to do over here without having to work.
Got you. Okay.
See,
So
a lot of other Black parents need to start doing this.
So she's talking about her son. Earlier, she talks about her son goes to bed every night at 4:00 in the morning. Right? So basically, we talking about a guy that's probably sleeping at 2 in the afternoon. Right? That's number one. Number two, been over there 3 years. He refuses to work. She gave him $100,000. What is he over there? What is he over there doing? If I had to guess, what do y'all think his main prime objective is being in Ghana?
He turning up.
Sex.
Yeah.
He over there sleeping with all the women he can. He's been there 3 years. I'm bored as hell after. Listen, I can't, and I've had opportunity, right? I could have moved to the Dominican Republic. I had 100 something. I had money in my account. I could have moved to the Dominican Republic and turned up for years, just me and my homeboy, just knocking them down. Could have. Know what I told him? I said, man, I can't do that, man. I got stuff to do, man. I'm trying to build an empire. I'm not trying to sit around. That's just to go to your point, O-Dog, about a lot of young. This is a brother that came up in a 2-parent household. The husband and the wife, they over there together. They're not divorced. He has a wife. He has a husband. So, but it's the thing is, and this is the point I'm trying to make. What are you putting in your children to where if you get him $100,000, he gonna go out here like a dog in heat and try to knock off everything he see with the money?
That's basically the prodigal son. That's basically what he is.
Basically. And she over now, this is the thing. He coming home every night sleeping in your house with you. And you done gave him $100,000 and his ass don't want nothing. He ain't trying to build nothing. He just want to sit over there. He refused to work. He ain't trying to find a way to make some money. He just, man, it ain't working. But at least I can stay over here and feel like a real man, and I ain't got to worry about white supremacy. This is the problem. And I'm not talking, I don't know this lady from a can of paint, so I'm not trying to, I'm just using this as an example to talk about how what it looks like to live it out, to apply this stuff to your life. Like, you know, my son, I'm gonna tell him, look, man, you're gonna be a man. I tell him all the time, look here, man, you're gonna be a man. You got to take care of family. You have to pay bills. I can give you everything you ask for. You cannot be weak. I refuse to raise a weak man. I'm already starting to tell him that. He look at me. He at that age where he actually stares in my eyes and listen when I talk to him. So I'm really trying to put all I can in him. Some stuff he gonna listen to, some stuff he ain't. He gonna be hard-headed. He's a child. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is I try to raise him up as much as I can in the word. We pray every day. We do the things we do because I'm trying to put that in him. But if you just pushing your child to believe in racism, because that's all he's seen. It seems like the biggest principle he's gathered from his mom is racism, clearly, from his parents. Because now he thinks he needs to be in Africa because, you know, he's going to get killed by the white supremacist race soldiers. That's what he thinks. And it's like, man, you a man, bro. You're going to have to get out here and build. I wish I would give my son, I save up $100,000. First of all, let me tell you what I wouldn't have done. You got $100,000. By the time he's 32, he'd have been a millionaire. Why you gave it to him? I wouldn't give him nothing. Come man, he go $5,000. Go play. He came home after about a month and a half, 2 months. We went back home. That's it. Okay, you ain't got to worry about a place to stay. All right, so maybe it lasts you 5 months, 4 months. We heading back home after that. That other 95, it's drawing interest every year. It's compounded. By the time you get to year 12, 13, from $100,000, you looking at about $1 million right at it. That boy would have been a millionaire in 12 years. What are you doing? He wasting it, squandering it. See what I'm saying? Over what? Sex. Sex is ruining so many of our young brothers out here. I talk about it. It's the thing people love to talk about women and oh, these women this, these women that. Oh, women. Look here, bro. At the end of the day, you control who you lay with. At the end of the day, you can talk about the system and the gynocracy all you want to. I tell brothers all the time, if you ain't disciplined, you ain't gonna win. My son, pay attention to my wisdom, turn your ear to my words of insight, that you may maintain discretion and your lips may preserve knowledge, for the lips of the adulterous woman drip honey and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end, she is bitter as gall, sharp as a double-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lead straight to the grave. She gives no thought to her way of life, a wayward, loose, sexual woman that's out here getting unalives and children anytime she get caught up. My body, my choice, right? Her paths wander aimlessly. You make me laugh, I'm a give 'em song, right? But she does not know it. But right here it says, know then, son, my sons, listen to me. Do not turn aside from what I say. Keep your path far from her. Stay away from her. Do not go near the door of her house, lest you lose your honor to others and your dignity to one who is cruel. Lest strangers feast on your wealth and your toil enrich the house of another. You're going to get caught up. Your money going to be gone. You out here wilding out. First of all, I wouldn't be out there wilding out in Africa anyway. I just wouldn't be sleeping around in Africa like that. That's not a place I would really, I ain't going to say I had a few situations over there, but I ain't get down too much. I was nervous. Africa, go look it up. You just don't want to just mess around with Africa like that. It's all types of crazy stuff over there. And what I'm saying is when it comes to our young men today, we need people to come in and tell us and push certain agendas and narratives, just like the leftists. See, one of the things that the right has to acknowledge and conservatives have to acknowledge, they did not master like media. They didn't master pop culture like the left did. That was a big deal to them. Because the left mastered pop culture, they have a better, stronger influence. They look cool. The right doesn't. The right is just not starting to look that way, right? The right is just now getting to the point where if you want to rage against the machine, go right. You know, talk about you a Christian, that'll piss people off. We're just getting to that point. There was a time where for the last I say about 40, 50 years, it's been, hey, if you're a believer, you lame. You this, you that. Now people are starting to see some people speak up. At least I am, you know, in my space and what I consume every day. But man, people got to start speaking up out here. Stop being afraid. Stop being cold. Stop. To stand up to these people, challenge them on their logic. These people, Professor Derek Albert Bell, I bought his books. I bought James Cone. Trash, complete and utter trash. Michelle Alexander, the new Jim Crow, trash. I said it, read it. I sat right there and listened to all of it. Anecdotal situations, assuming that it's the entirety of all black men that's in prison. Talking like 60% of black men are in prison when they not. Scaring you, putting fear in you. I had that book years ago. The new Jim Crow. Come on, man. We're afraid to challenge. You got to challenge these people. Go ahead, old dog.
Well, the church just left its post. I don't think that, like it's kind of like the book, what's it called? Pagan Christianity.
Yeah.
The church is not supposed to be functioning how it is. Even people's perception of what a Christian man is just off. People think if you're a Christian, you got to be soft and docile. They basically think that a good Christian man is basically a woman. And that's just not what the scriptures teach. So, I mean, and then, most women aren't gay. Most women don't want a woman. So, of course, they're going to take the quote unquote bad boy. Because the Christian man, her perception of him, he has no edge to him. You remember that episode of a different world? When Piccolo came and what's her name? Jada Pinkett's character, her boyfriend, Dorian, he was trying to prove how tough and hard he was, because he was the clean cut good guy. So now he had to prove how tough he was. But if he would have just maintained his frame, he would have showed what a true man is. Just maintain your frame and defend what's yours, but don't go out there looking for a fight.
Yeah. One of my favorite episodes is Carlton, when they was trying to get him in that fraternity.
Yeah.
He checked the dude.
Yeah, he checked him. Yeah.
Like, bro, I'm trying. You the one throwing stuff in my face, man. Just because I don't have the cultural habits that you have,
Yeah, he called him a sellout. He said, "You're the real sellout."
That's it.
But Marxism appeals to a weak man. Marxism appeals to a man that's conquered.
Yep.
Marxism appeals to a hopeless man
that doesn't expect to win.
That doesn't expect to win. Marxism appeals to a man that does not like to compete.
Yeah.
And all these things are antithetical to what a man is. And
look, if most people that are Marxists, they would be happy and content if everybody lived off $50,000 a year. They would be happy with that.
Well, that's just not realistic. And somebody's always going to rise up and conquer. That's the spirit that God put in all of us.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like one of my favorite, everybody likes Thomas Sowell, but I like Walter Williams. I like Walter E. Williams.
Yeah.
When he said greed is a good thing, on surface, people might be like, oh yeah, greed is never good. But in the context, what he was trying to explain, that a man is gonna go out and work and try to amass as much as he can for his own self-interest. And that's a good thing. A man is gonna try to maximize, a man is gonna do what he can to maximize his profit. And that drives the economy. But when you have low ambition, when you have low expectations for yourself, you're not gonna do any of that. When there's no incentive to work hard, when you're working on a flat rate at a job that you already hate, that's gonna beat you down, that's already demoralized you, when you can't use your God-given gifts to contribute to the workplace, you're gonna it's kind of like, okay, well, what's the point?
That's it.
It's a
That's
dark
it.
situation. So these people are asking for communism. We need to stop placating these people. We need to start meeting them with fire and brute excessive force. I'm not talking about just physical, but you got to meet fire with fire.
Yeah, you have to be willing to, like, this is the thing I tell people all the time. Stop running from like believers running from confrontations with people a lot of time. I don't engage folks. A lot of people, like, they got these deconstruction videos, and I'm not really a TikToker like that, but I see people going at it like this guy called himself the Black C.S. Lewis. He a beast, black dude. And he destroys these people. I love it. I love to see people he logically, real smart, high IQ brother. He just logically dismantles these people. Like, he just pulls them, because people say a lot of stupid stuff about Christianity, about having a faith, about, they use it for slavery. And he just destroys these dudes, man. And I love it. And you starting to see people speak up and tag these people and go at them, man, because these people should be engaged. You shouldn't allow these people to get away with blaspheming and saying stuff and we just quiet about it. I hate that. Guys, to be honest with you, darkness will reign when the righteous are afraid and they're silent and they're afraid of these people, to go at these people and do whatever. That's just the truth. Darkness.
It's
evil.
What did our Lord say? You're the light of the world.
Yeah.
If you hide your light, there's gonna be darkness.
That's it.
And I mean, I'm just saying, like, Christians gotta understand, you have to participate in these matters, what we call worldly matters. You have to participate, or you're gonna let everything rot. The Bible says, when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people mourn.
That's it. I got a chapter on Christian Zion, not Christian Zion, on what do they call it? Christian nationalism. I got a chapter on that where I kind of address those narratives that people do to attack the church and say, oh, well, you shouldn't say anything because you're trying to force your beliefs because you're a Christian. Like, man, stop it. Like, this is the energy we have. People are afraid. Go ahead, I cut y'all.
Nah, you good. I mean, shit, your show. But that's you go anywhere in the world. There is no such thing as there. You can't escape theocracy. You're always gonna have a theocracy because everybody is going to move according to whatever they believe God is. Some people believe that they are God, so they're gonna move according to that. You go to a Muslim nation, they believe Allah's God or whatever. So they're gonna move according to that. So when we come here in the United States and we just say, oh, well, you can't force your beliefs on somebody. Well, newsflash, if you don't enforce your beliefs, somebody else is gonna force theirs upon you. And if we don't wake up and see and start to understand, that's what's gonna happen. When I see, and I don't want to just be attacking people, but when I see Muslims praying in public in broad daylight, that means that they have no respect for our God, whatever God that is. We've made it so to where
we completely think there is no God, so they can come and push their thing. And this is the thing. And I heard a guy say this. Most people are ignorant about the Quran, right? So what we do is we say, well, we're gonna go and attack and gang bang against the church hard as we can, but we're gonna go be okay with the other side, the Muslims coming in, because you're ignorant. You don't know what it says about LGBT. You don't know what it says about it's the stuff that you hate against the church. They pretty much in lockstep with us on certain issues that you hated and bashed the church for. LGBT, unaliving the children, and all that stuff. They against it too. But these people are so stupid and uninformed, they'll actually push that narrative. And I wanted to play this chapter because this is really talking about that. So I want to play it real quick. It ain't that quick. It's a couple.
Yeah, go ahead.
The attack on faith and country. The demonization of Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism is often made to sound like something scary or dangerous. People are told it means forcing religion on others or creating a harsh government. But for many Christians, their faith is simply a big part of who they are. It guides how they live, vote, and make choices. When people use the term Christian nationalism in a negative way, it's often to shame Christians who want their faith to shape their values in public life. Many Marxist thinkers and groups do this on purpose. They know that faith is powerful, so they try to push it out of public discussions. They say Christians who stand for biblical truth, like protecting life, marriage, and religious freedom, are extremists. This makes people afraid to speak up about what they believe. Over time, this fear works in the Marxists' favor. They want to destroy faith's influence so they can replace it with their own ideas about morality and control. If Christianity is labeled as hateful or dangerous, people will turn away from it. Once Christian values disappear from public life, the people become easier to control and guide toward ungodly beliefs. Christians must not let this happen. We should take back the true meaning of our faith's place in our nation. Christian values have always built strong communities, cared for the poor, and brought justice through love. By standing firm and showing the good that faith brings, Christians can change the story being told about them and keep God's truth alive in the culture. Silencing Christians through shame. One of the main tools used to stop Christians from speaking up is shame. Marxists know that most people want to be liked and accepted, so they use words like Christian nationalist to make believers feel guilty. They twist what is good and make it sound bad. Faith, family, and love for one's country are called divisive or intolerant. Because of this, many Christians grow quiet, afraid to speak the truth about what's right and wrong. Shame is powerful in today's world. Everyone wants to fit in and not offend others. When Christians are told their beliefs are outdated or hateful, they pull back and stay silent. This silence weakens their impact on culture, government, and schools. If Christians stay quiet, those who oppose biblical values fill the space instead. This silence has deep consequences. It allows people who hate God's truth to take control of laws, education, and families. Soon, Christian values are no longer part of public life at all. Without those values, society loses its sense of right and wrong. Marxist ideas take root, ideas that focus on control, jealousy, and group power instead of personal responsibility, faith, and freedom. Misusing in the world but not of it to excuse silence. Many Christians today misunderstand what Jesus meant when he said we are to be in the world, but not of it. John 17:14-18. Jesus never told his followers to hide or stay silent while evil grows stronger. Yet that is exactly what many believers do. They say this world is not my home and use that as an excuse to ignore what is happening around them. But while we wait for heaven, God still expects us to work, speak truth, and stand against evil here on earth. When Christians refuse to speak up, sin spreads faster. Lies become laws. Children are taught confusion about who they are. Families are broken. And those who follow darkness feel free to do whatever they want because no one is standing against them. Satan loves a silent church. Silence gives him room to deceive and destroy. This is like letting a person speed towards a missing bridge and saying nothing as they roll to destruction. Jesus told his followers to be the salt of the earth and the light of the world. Matthew 5:13-16. Salt keeps things from decaying and light drives out darkness. But when we stay quiet about sin, when we stop protecting the truth, our salt loses its power and our light grows dim. We were not saved just to escape this world, but to shine God's truth in it. Many believers say, I'm just waiting for Jesus to come back. But while we wait, children are being corrupted, families are being torn apart, and truth is being replaced with lies. God did not call us to sit on the sidelines while the enemy takes over schools, government, and media. He called us to stand firm, to love boldly, and to fight for what is right. When we stay silent, we give our approval to evil by doing nothing. James 4:17 says, anyone who knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it sins. This means silence in the face of evil is sin. God expects his people to act, to protect the innocent, speak for truth, and resist wickedness. We must remember that being not of this world doesn't mean separating from it completely. It means not letting the world's corruption shape our hearts. We still live here, and we are still God's hands and feet on earth. As long as evil moves freely and innocent people suffer, Christians have a duty to speak up and fight for righteousness. If the church keeps quiet, the world will continue to crumble. But if God's people rise up and live as true disciples, strong, loving, and unashamed, we can push back the darkness. The world may hate the truth, but it still needs it. And God has trusted his people to deliver it. The role of media and academia in spreading lies. The media and universities help spread the false story about Christian nationalism. News channels often link it with hate groups or violence, even though most Christians simply want to live out their faith. They ignore the difference between believers who love their country and a few who misuse religion for politics. This makes the public think all outspoken Christians are dangerous. Colleges and schools have also become places that attack Christianity. Many professors teach from a Marxist view, calling religion a tool for control instead of a source of truth. Classes in history, politics, and sociology often paint Christianity as the cause of harm instead of the source of healing. They rarely mention how the Bible inspired schools, hospitals, freedom movements, and charity. Together, the media and academia form an echo chamber, repeating the same lies about Christians over and over. People who don't know the truth begin to believe it. This drives a wedge between believers and non-believers. It makes it harder for Christians to speak about their faith without being judged. The goal is to keep the church out of the conversation and replace it with secular voices that promote Marxist values.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop it right there. That's about halfway of that chapter. But it to me, this is key, because when you hear people talk about Christian nationalism, they just telling you to shut up, let us do what we gotta do, let us push our energy, ubiquitous, nasty, funky little policies on your kids and on your grandkids, and you shouldn't come out here and try to speak up and stop it. If I want to give a book about fellatio and cunnilingus to a kindergartner, who are you to come up here and tell me that I'm wrong, right? You're trying to force your religious beliefs. Well, you have beliefs you're forcing on my kids. You're not teaching them reading, writing, and math and arithmetic. You're not, I mean, math is arithmetic, but reading, writing, and arithmetic, you're not teaching that, right? You're teaching your nasty doo-doo policies that you would like to push in our schools, in our universities. You want to, I send my son to school. He comes back, he believes in 30,000 genders and he doesn't believe in God anymore. Like that's a problem. All he wanted to do was go to school and be a doggone, engineer. Now he's been confused because they done taught him all types of filth. This is school. This is college, and it's unbridled. Go ahead.
That is the danger. I don't like using that word danger, but that is the result of this Schofield ideology. That's the result right there. There. I know we kind of differ on eschatology, but when Christians determine that the world is about to explode, so there's no need to engage in public affairs, there's no need to do the work of God, there's no need to invent things, there's no need for innovation. You get all the evil people inventing stuff. It's like we have AI now.
You get OnlyFans and Pornhub. That's what you get.
Yeah, we got AI now, and it's like everybody's saying AI is gonna subjugate mankind, AI is gonna kill people's jobs and this, that, and the other. But it's kind of like what type of mind conceived AI? You know, what was the heart? What was the spirit that led somebody to create AI? What was the intention behind AI? You know what I'm saying?
And if
And
you
oh
see that guy, if you see that guy that was interviewed with what's his face, Tucker Carlson, the guy from Chat GPT, the
yeah,
founder,
yeah.
you see how evil and vile that man was. I mean, this man probably, I mean, I don't know, I can't say for sure, but he got people that were whistleblowers that wound up killing themselves, blood all splattered everywhere, but they called it a suicide. He had just ordered some food. Come on, bro. They offed him. This the type of stuff. These are the people that are running Silicon Valley.
These are the people that are running society.
Yeah.
I mean, there's who is just a sound voice in culture now. Who's a sound voice? There are no like who is a proud believer that is a monster in in industry. Who
Well, they kind of assassinated him.
assassinated who? The AI man?
No, I'm talking about Kirk.
Oh, Charlie Kirk was just a talker. He didn't really he was just a talker and
Yeah, when you talking about a titan of industry, you talking about somebody
yeah,
that owns a company. So
that has
yeah.
that actually creates
Create
resources.
things.
Yeah, that who because you read about Abraham, right?
Hmm.
Abraham, the one thing the Bible says about Abraham is that it doesn't say he was rich, it says he was very rich with gold and cattle.
Hmm.
So that means he was a he was a titan in whatever industry that he was in. So it's like what think about the stock market. What people what righteous people are known as masters of the stock market.
I can't tell you one.
That's what I'm saying. Because we as
Never
a
seen one.
church have bought into the notion that being poor is a virtue, and
Hmm.
that being rich, we all say, oh, the love of money is the root of all evil, and he that wills to be rich pierce himself with many sorrows and all that. And we don't even see. I posted some verses in the chat. It said the blessings of the Lord make one rich, as no sorrow. A diligent hand, makes one rich, and a sluggard's gonna be poor. All these things. We're not trying to be great anymore. We're not trying to conquer something and then give the glory to God. Giving God glory is not singing gospel music all Sunday and be like, oh, I'm gonna give glory to God. Giving glory to God is just the same thing as a child bringing glory to their parents. They go out there and they kick ass and they be great and they conquer something, and then people are gonna be like, whose child is this? I bet their
That's
parents is
what
proud.
if you go
I.
back historically, and you
Mhm.
look at these people that started a lot of these businesses, right? One of the things I noticed, and this is just true, a lot of the people historically that were great titans of industry that were black people. I'm just talking about the black people. George Washington Carver wasn't a titan of industry, but he was an inventor. You know what? They say George Washington Carver asked God to teach him something. He said, God just said, I'm just going to teach you about the peanut. That's it. That's all he got. I went to Tuskegee, so I hear these stuff. I used to hear this stuff all the time. I went to George Washington Carver High School. They talked about, he said God just taught him about the peanut. He gave all the glory to God. George Washington Carver. What was he doing? You know what I'm saying? We look at Booker T. Washington. He built an institution called the Tuskegee Institute. Go look at who he was all about God. He was, right? You got all types of people historically, black people. You can look at their writings and how they thought. We don't talk about it. We ignore that. Black people, and particularly a lot of these conscious black hoteppers, they ignore that aspect of them. They just, for example, even Marcus Garvey. Now, he had his little shaky moments, but even Marcus Garvey was supposed to be a believer. He was having revivals. A lot of the people that started the Pan-Africanist movement were black pastors. I'm just saying, I ain't saying that's the best movement to go with, but you get what I'm saying. The church was the centerpiece of the black community. Most of these societies and cultures and these doggone black Wall Streets were built out of black churches. And this is the thing. Now, this the problem. This is the dichotomy you run into, right? The problem you have is, for example, Eddie Long was trying to do something like that, right? I wasn't 100% against some of the stuff I heard he was trying to do with trying to real estate with a lot of his church members, and they was trying to get loans. But then some niggas came in and did some fraud. It wasn't on him, but somebody in there was doing some fraud. You got to deal with the heart first. You have to deal with the character and the heart of people first, or you won't be able to come and use the church, because the people in the church don't read the Bible. They don't, they don't do the thing that really, that they, they should do. So, like, for example, this person, was it Geechee Dan up here saying, "Hey, man, the church for me is dead." This is the thing. This is just my personal opinion. I get why he said that, right? But there are biblical people preaching the gospel, that's preaching the true gospel of Jesus Christ. Right?
Sub, where you at?
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Sub, where you at?
Can you hear me? Hello, I'm here. Can you anybody type of one? Can you hear me? Type of one if you can hear me.
I can hear you, Sub. I don't know what
I
happened.
can't hear.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I type yeah in the chat. Okay. But this is the thing with the
Sub,
church.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, So this is the thing with the church.
Can y'all hear Sub?
Yeah. I'm gonna type yes. Yeah, they hear me. So he probably just is his sound. But this is the thing with the church that I see. The church is the bride of Christ, right? So this is the problem you run into with the church. When you and there's a sermon by Vodi Bachman where he's talking about, be careful how you bash the bride of Christ. I think the church still is working in America and doing certain things and I know people that are godly people that's doing right, but nobody's going to take a bullhorn and go scream, "Hey, go look at this man that's being faithful to his wife, that's out here working in this community trying to help his people, and he's a good man of God." Nobody's going to talk about him. But let a pastor come along that wants to push a certain agenda. He's pushing some sort of LGBT causes and stuff like that. That guy is going to be beloved. That guy is going to be, or if anything, people from outside the church are going to talk about him, and people in the church going to talk about him, and they're going to bash. I don't church bash. I don't do that. I don't bash the church. I'll call it out. I'll say they need to get it together, but I don't throw it away, because guess what? Like, for example, I go to 2819, right? I don't agree with everything Pastor Mitchell does, or I don't agree with everything at the church per se, but I do believe that man has a heart after God. I think he's serious about preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. I do believe that. And I'm cool with that, man. I don't, that's me, because number one, I don't expect him to feed me. I study myself. I study for my own. We read the Bible at our house, but I do like that. I like the way he comes with the word. And that's it, man. You're not going, like, church is a hospital. It just is. And so when you, as believers, especially when believers drag the church, why would somebody want to go? And if you telling me that this woman is a terrible woman to date, why I want to go on a date with her? Man, you see what she did to so-and-so, man, I ain't going. That's what you see with the church, man. It's like people understand you need to talk like what we talking, say what we saying. But first of all, another thing, you don't go to church placing faith in people. I hate that. If you're going to place faith in man, then you just don't go, because you ain't really a Christian anyway. If you saying, I'm going to go to church, but then this dude over here, he cheated on his wife, or this pastor got caught stealing the money, so I ain't going to church. You not going to church for the pastor. I ain't going to church for the pastor. You think I will be like, you know what? They say, what's the name? Pastor so-and-so cheated on his wife, Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell. I ain't going to say I would stay there, right? But what I'm saying is, I'm not going to give up on the entire faith because somebody sinned. And that's what I see with people. Something that you claim and profess to believe in, people will give up on it because somebody did something wrong that they didn't like. That don't make sense to me.
My bad, sir.
What you just oh,
No, I was just saying, I was just apologizing for interrupting the
No, you
stream
good.
because my mic went out.
Go ahead,
so,
Sophia.
Sub, are you familiar with the Dr. Daff show?
No.
So I don't really know her that well, but it came up on my feed maybe a couple weeks ago. She was doing a Christian versus former Christian segment, kind of like Jubilee.
Uh-huh.
And it was primarily women, and the Christian women who were talking, and they knew their Bible. They were quoting scriptures. They knew exactly what to say. And those former Christians, all you hear is, oh,
Somebody
well,
did something.
somebody did something from the church. Somebody
Yep.
did this, and that's why I didn't want to be around those people. So I had to leave the church.
Yeah.
This is how modern day Christians see the church. Like it's a social hour. That's not what it's about.
Yep. That's it. And for me, I feel like when I hear people complain, that's their complaint. Their complaint is, I gotta stop because Joe Bob, I found out he was cheating on his wife, or I gotta stop because I heard so and so did this or did that, and that ain't right, and that's why the church is full of hypocrites. And this, you get those types of conversations instead of saying, well, yeah, I understand the church. You got people in the church that are gonna hurt you, and they're gonna do certain things, and I get that. You know what I'm saying? That people are gonna bother you. They're gonna get on your nerves. They're gonna say stuff that you don't like, and I mean, I could tell stories of stuff people did to me in the church that professed to be Christians that was in the ministry. I ain't gonna give up my faith. Those are two different things. They ain't got nothing to do with that. That's them. They did dirt. I don't like it. Right? I ain't saying I'm just like, and me, I'm this is what I never understood. When you go to church, ain't nobody telling you to give nobody your full paycheck, or then you go in there and give them $2. If you want to give to people. Right. Invest in people. My homeboy was in ministry. I was supporting him. I don't care what no pastor say. Man, you got to give your money to me. Man, ain't whatever. What verse is that? You got to know the Bible for yourself, read for yourself, and don't let nobody tell you you can't give Joe Bob. Joe Bob got to, you got to give Joe Bob your money, or you not under a covering. Or you man, get on. Black folks love to do. This is the thing. Black people will make up all these false doctrines of, I ain't gonna let him touch you. He might put some spirits on you. Where you get that from? Listen, I'm not like, if somebody's claiming to be a witch and they got a bunch of crystals, I ain't saying I'm finna be grabbing and handling it like that, but I ain't worried like that. I do know and understand who I'm covered by. I'm not worried like that. That upon believing, you were given a seal, the promised Holy Spirit, which is a seal guaranteeing your inheritance to the day of redemption. Right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're supposed to have discernment anyway. You can't just
Here we go. We got one. That's what I'm talking about right there. That means the church is more wicked because people did something. Christianity ain't salvation. All your leaders are scamming. That's what I'm,
okay.
It's just tiring. It's tiring. So somebody in the church did some dirt. Somebody did some dirt. So let me ask you this. Africa Bambaataa, Zulu Nation, and all these Hotep niggas out here, Africa Bambaataa sucking off little boys, been doing it since the early 70s. So do you niggas stop talking about the universe and the ancestors now? Huh? Oh, you can separate that, right?
They can't answer that.
Yeah, like so Brother Polite talk about the whatever Nuwabian or whatever he was, right? And no, we're gonna talk about Nuwabian Nation. Malachi Z. York, what he got life. What we doing? Black people can separate that, right? But when it comes to trying to hold people to a standard of morality and trying to push a certain agenda of righteousness, it's a problem. And this is the thing about people like Life is Precious. They'd rather you stop believing. And it's not like he's coming here and say, hey, man, why don't you do this? Or why don't you? They just saying, stop going to church. Stop believing. Stop. Right? Find your own way. Go and make it up as you go and figure it out. Right? Go get into voodoo. Go get into, whatever it is. And that's it.
But that's a tool of the enemy, though. That's the
Exactly.
tool. That's the exact tool of the enemy, and that's how we got Marxism in the first place. Oh,
Yeah.
nah, you don't have to go to church every Sunday. You don't got to listen to the pastor. He don't know your life.
Yeah.
These
That's
people
it.
don't know you.
And that's why I don't really have any respect for a lot of these brothers that's going around. There's a lot of black men that love to go around and try to stop people. And stop. Oh, I gotta wake brothers up. I gotta wake people up, man. The churches like nigga. You think I'm going up in the church getting the pastor my paycheck, nigga? You a fool.
Nah, this is a Hebrew Israelite we're dealing with because
Oh,
they're using fake Hebrew like Yasharalim, like that's fake
Hmm.
Hebrew.
oh, okay.
That doesn't mean anything. Like I don't know why these niggas think that having different vowels is a sin. Like it's weird because they think Paleo Hebrew had no vowels. They think it only had one vowel sound. Like what language has one vowel sound? Like that's crazy. Like that's not even linguistically feasible to have one vowel sound.
Mm-mm.
You got the word cat and kit. Like you can't distinguish between the two because you only have one vowel. Like that doesn't make sense. Like these Hebrew Israelites, they're just a bunch of pseudo melanated Zionists. That's all they are. If you don't if you're not in Christ, then and you call yourself a Jew, then you're what he was talking about. You're one of those people that say they're Jews but are not, but you're of the synagogue of Satan. That's who you are. You are the allegorical um descendants of those people that say they're Jews but they are not, because you don't have the love of God in you.
Mm-mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I wish one of these Hebrew Israelites would run up on me. Like I got something for them. I got something for them. Like sometimes I'll be wanting people to challenge me because I'll be wanting to smoke, but like ain't nobody gonna call me. I don't know. Maybe I'm not famous, but
I'm gonna be honest
nobody's
with
gonna.
you though. This the thing with Hebrews that really is annoying. They're usually the type of black man that they come into what they think is knowledge and they just go crazy messing with people, right? Like I'm a believer. I don't go messing with Muslims. I don't go messing with Hebrews. But you'll always see them calling people names, starting arguments, that's them. They got to go around. They so excited to learn something because most of these niggas, a lot of them been to prison, right? Let's keep it a buck. A lot of these niggas have been to prison. They didn't got out. They learned something when they was doing they 2-year bid from brother whoever, whatever. And he taught them something. Now they think they know something. So, but then they'll go and pick verses out of the epistles. They'll pick verses out of the revelations. They'll pick verses out of the gospel. But then when you read another verse, oh well, nah, man, that's Paul and that. Wait a minute. How you pick this verse but then ignore this from the same book? How you do that? So I don't understand these brothers.
And they don't. Again, man, they don't want to see me. They don't ever want to see me because I got, man. You should see. I got a Septuagint. I got a Peshitta. I got a copy of Shem Tov's Matthew, the Hebrew version of the Gospel of Matthew. I mean, I got documents that I've printed out over the last 10 years. I used to really be into the language and learning the original language. I used to be into all that. So there's nothing. Well, I'm not gonna say there's nothing they can say, but if they ever run up on me, they picked the right they picked the right one. I'll say that. Like all this, they use fake words like Yahweh Shai, and there's no name Yahweh Shai, or they'll say Yahweh. There's no name. There's no Hebrew word Yahweh. Like they're just a big bowl of confusion.
Yeah.
They think because they're black, they're the chosen people. That's just
And
pseudo.
that's basically what it is. It's like, and then I saw them one time say, well, if you from the Caribbean, then you from this tribe. And if you from Mississippi or Alabama, you from this tribe. And if you from, I was like, oh my.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do
So
they know?
you telling me during the slave trade, they split it up like that? So you telling me they grabbed the Hebrews out of West Africa, brought them over through the transatlantic slave trade. It's okay. Now we're going to put the tribe of Dan over here. We're going to put the tribe of Benjamin over here. We're going to put the tribe of Levi over here. Like what? Like what? Like
Man, look, when the Romans sacked Jerusalem and destroyed the temple, all of the genealogical records got destroyed. So, all these people keeping all the biblical feasts and waiting for this and that. You have to have a Levite. You have to have a son of Aaron to perform all those duties. But we don't know who the sons of Levi and Aaron are because they destroyed the temple records. So it's obvious that God wanted to destroy that old covenant system. So these niggas these niggas just don't know what they're talking about. They're just as lost as the people that they're trying to save. They get on street corners in these Halloween costumes, purple and gold, and yelling at people and shit like that. Man,
they go
come
in the
on,
Bible.
man.
They be like, Book of Proverbs, chapter 5. I'm like, man, why are you screaming?
Yeah, man. These niggas have they're just like anybody else. These niggas have no answers. None. So
that's it. Look, man, I'm about to close up. Anybody got any comments? Closing remarks?
Marxism is for losers. Sorry for all the listeners, man. I apologize for making this a Bible study, but
look,
sometimes
man,
it just comes out.
I'm gonna have it over here. You come over here to Sub-Zero. Hey, man, you might well come on in here and put something in the collection plate, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. I'm gonna have church. You can say what you want. You can get mad. You can get whatever you want to get. But I'm gonna have church over here. It ain't church. Church. I ain't got no church here. That's what I'm that old dude sitting in the corner. Preach, preacher. Like I'm that guy. So you come over here, that's what you gonna get. You gonna get that. And if you got a problem, I don't know what to tell you, because you ain't finna come over here and just talk slick and get away with it. I ain't finna let you. I ain't one of them. I'm not one of them turn the other cheek type guys. I ain't just finna just. So it is what it is, bro. Pray for me, because I ain't with it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I ain't good. I heard a sermon one time. God don't like no weak soldiers. I'm like David, brother. You remember one time, dude was gonna try to go after David when he was in Absalom. And the dude told Absalom, look here, man, you don't want to go at David, man. David a fool, man. David is fierce. He said, David is fierce. You do not want to go into battle with him. He will kill you. He is a fool. That's how you got to be. Be like David. Run up and cut a joker head off. Like, what's up? What's happening? What's up? Like, that's how you got to be. Quit being scared. You're going to get into some skirmishes. That's the world we live in.
Hey, man,
somebody got to do it.
There's a time for peace and there's a time for war. So, shit, I'm ready for war. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say. God doesn't condemn war. So, you run up on me, shit, I'm gonna give you all you can handle.
That's it. And it's all right. That's what you're supposed to do, man. People, that's the problem. I think society has cracked and went down the toilet because people have been, cowards. That's just the bottom line. Quit being a coward. Quit being scared. Go after what you want. Yeah, you want something in business. You want something in life, man. Quit being scared, bro. Get out there and go get what you want out of life. My brother told me when I was young, he said, look here, man, nobody's going to give you nothing in life. You want something, you got to go take it. That's it. That's it. That's how it go. That's it. Anyway, man, you got anything, Sophia?
I would say, like, us as Christians, we need to be bolder in our faith. We definitely cannot allow Marxism, socialism, communism to take over culture. We can't sit back and just let our societies burn, because that's not what God wants us to do.
That's it.
And
Amen. I'm so sorry I cut you off. My bad. I apologize.
Nah, that's all right. And I would say that, for our younger generations, I really do think they need to experience pain in order for them to grow and be more mature. Because by us telling them this is the way to live, they're not hearing us. They're not hearing us at all. But I truly believe that there needs to be like what is a revival? That's what it's called. Like a
Yeah,
revival in our culture, a revival in church. Like we can't have this commercialism going on with the culture. Like we need to take a stand, and I think we need to take a stand now before it
that's
gets
it.
too
Speak
bad.
up, man. Speak up.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Don't be scared. That's
Mm-mm.
it, man. So
Yeah,
anyway,
I
go
think
ahead.
it's I think you said revival. I say awakening. I think there needs
Yeah.
to be an awakening, and for what you said, my heart goes out to you being in New York. Something that I've just been thinking for the last couple of years. Especially after COVID, I'm just like, man, we need to go in. We need to go into California and conquer it the same way they're trying to come into Texas and conquer
Hmm.
us. We need to go to California and conquer that. We need to go to New York and conquer that.
Yes.
Because if the word of God, if the word of God is sharper than a double-edged sword, if it is the weapon that can pierce through the spirit of a man, then we need to be wielding that. That is how we're going to subdue the earth, just like we were instructed in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I pray that God, you know, puts me where He wants me to be, and I pray that God rises up more young men and women that are going to take a stand and fight against this. Because the only way that they'll win is if we don't fight. That's the only way.
Hmm.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it, bro. That's it. Look, man, God bless. I'm gonna see y'all on the B side, as they say, as Master Ace used to say back in the day. And so, Sophia, I'm gonna be praying for you because you up there in New York. Ain't no telling
Yeah.
what type of crazy drama. I don't hear that thick New York accent from you. You
Because
know what
I
I'm
still
saying?
have that Trini accent. That's why.
Yeah, you from Trinidad.
Yeah, I'm originally from Trinidad, but like it comes out here and there. Nah, I've been in New York probably about 20 years.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I just haven't I don't know. I just don't have an accent. I just haven't assimilated. I don't know.
hey, that's okay. That's okay. It is what it is. Anyway, guys, God bless y'all. Have a good one. I will
All
see y'all later.
right. Bye.
All right.